teams. They went from a +4 on the giveaway takeaway to a -6 in 2 weeks. And for the Chargers, they've given up 1,018 yards and 65 points in 2 weeks. And all of a sudden now both these teams in a situation where they have to win. A lot of pressure to score points.
I think you can safely say if the Chargers win today, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Somewhere, somehow.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Alan Pinkett, a second-year back from Notre Dame, is back deep now for the Houston Oilers. As ready to kick it off is Mosienko for the San Diego Chargers. These two teams played last season at San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium, and the Chargers that day blew out the Oilers 27-0. Mosienko powers a line drive and will carry to the goal line. Here comes Pinkett. Alan Pinkett breaks it for the moment and gets out to the 28-yard line on his return. Tackled on the play by another Notre Damer, Pete Holohan. A courageous guy, Warren Moon from, but you hope he's not going to jeopardize that right arm.
Don, I saw him just before the game, and I said, "How's your shoulder feel?" And he said, "Weird." I said, "Has it ever felt weird before?" And he said, "No." He's also never played in a game that he could remember where he did not practice at all during the week.
Strong armor from the University of Washington. And of course, the Canadian Football League, where he quarterbacked 5 consecutive Canadian Football League championship teams at Edmonton. First and 10, pitch back goes to Rozier, and he's hit in the backfield, and now going east and west, he does knock down for substantial losses. Elvis Peacock, the left corner, finally chopped him, and Rozier is down. Leading rusher for the Houston Oilers, 4th best runner this season in the NFL.
He looked seriously hurt, got hit right on the knee.
Elvis Patterson, the man who knocked him down, the cornerback, a hard shot right on the knee. And so we'll see if Rozier can get set to go, Trump. He has been troubled by a bad ankle.
Well, this whole football team in the Houston Oilers has been troubled by injuries. They've lost 9 guys in the last 3 weeks, and that's why Jerry Glanville's team has lost their last 2 in a row.
Holiday Green.
First run, Rozier cutting back against the grain. You see Elvis Patterson hit him on the knee, but it looks like Rozier's foot is off the ground. Probably a bruise on the knee. Looks like the helmet hit right next to the knee pad. He got up and walked off, so Alan Pinkett now takes his place. The net result is a loss of 10 yards.
Warren Moon at quarterback now. Alan Pinkett in as the running back. Rozier did walk off under his own power without a limp. Ray Wallace, the blocking back. 2 excellent wide receivers for the Oilers, Drew Hill and Ernest Givens. They are on the receiving end of 70% of the passing yardage here at Houston. Some tremendous players in the offensive line, led by the left guard and all-pro Mike Munchak. Turnovers have hurt the Oilers the last 2 games. Their offense has moved the ball. Here's Warren Moon on 2nd and 19. That's a rip, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Bensy Glenn, and he's still running inside the 30. And Glenn is finally knocked down at the 29-yard line. So Warren Moon with the bad arm guns the ball. It seems well downfield, but a miscalculation as Bensy Glenn was right there to get a room service interception.
The ball was intended for Ernest Givens. When you do not practice all week, you lose some of the timing, some of the feel, and it looked like he overthrew this one. Just has no confidence in his shoulder. Strange that Bensy Glenn started the San Diego Chargers' fortunes out last week with a 103-yard interception return for a touchdown. He starts him in the right foot again today.
Pick that one off of John Elway. Quick out, goes to the far side, and Lionel James at his best after he catches the ball. Takes it inside the 25-yard line and down to the 24. Al Saunders, coach of the Chargers, told us yesterday that the big reason for moving Lionel James to wide receiver is because he is small and at his best when he gets the ball, so let's give it to him one-on-one rather than taking the pounding into the line. Not a
bad idea at all. And of course, a lot of times they put Lionel James inside so he has safety coverage.
There was a gain of 5 yards in that quick out. Now Fautzko to the run. Running hard with the ball. Taking it straight ahead is Curtis Adams. Second-year running back from Central Michigan, who hasn't had a lot of carries, but he takes it inside the 25-yard line of the Oilers, knocked down by John Grimsley, an inside linebacker, number 59. Childress has been the best defensive player for Houston. He was the number 2 player picked in the entire draft 3 years ago out of Texas A&M.
I noticed that San Diego is alternating tackles. It looks like the tackles are bringing the plays in. Thompson and Kowalski have been bringing the plays in.
Pass downfield to Gary Anderson, but everybody seemed to be moving, and penalty markers are down on the field at the snap of the ball. And the report from the sideline on Mike Rozier, it wasn't his leg that was troubling him. A bruised shoulder took him out of the game.
It looked like he was holding his knee. Yeah, they're looking at his shoulder. We got an illegal procedure here on San Diego. San Diego caught Houston with no coverage.
Illegal motion. Offense. Line was not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay the down. 3rd down.
Now you see Rozier being attended to. That's just what the Houston Oilers don't need. A 2-game losing streak. Injuries all over the place. And then their best running back of the season. Looks like he's hurting on the sideline.
So Dan Fouts, in his 15th year from Oregon, sets his team with 3rd and 10 coming up. Here comes a blitz. Fouts stands in. Free ball. And on the run with the ball, it's a live play, is Robert Lyles, a linebacker, and he's going to go the distance, and Robert Lyles takes it in.
Keith Bostic was the man who hit Dan Fouts. He was untouched.
Bostic made the hit. Lyles picked up the free ball, and 55 yards later, he's in the end zone with a touchdown. And the Oiler defense puts up the first points of the day at 6-0 Houston.
Fouts never saw him. Never saw him. Came from the backside.
He got blistered.
Both of these football teams defensively rely heavily on the blitz. There's Bostic corner your screen, 25. He's the one who made the hit. And then Donaldson and Lyles were kind of bobbling the ball back and forth, and Lyles picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. That's what, when you've lost 2 games in a row, your confidence is shaken a little bit. That's exactly what you need to get off on the right foot.
Grimsley had a 93-yard fumble recovery and returned for a touchdown last season. Now penalty markers are down. The play apparently whistled dead before the snap. 12:25 to play in the first quarter. And the Oilers, who failed to move when they had the ball, now all of a sudden, after giving up the interception, force a fumble and turn it into a touchdown.
You see that a lot nowadays in the NFL, Don, because when you blitz a great deal, you're hiding a weakness. And the defensive backfield of the Houston Oilers is good, but they're missing a very, very important part of that defensive backfield. Steve Brown is out of the game because of a bad knee. So the more you can blitz and the more confusion you can create on the offense, the better chance you have to win. That's always been a real earmark of Jerry Glanville's defenses.
Another point, though, Trump, if you're going to blitz Fouts, you better get to him because he kills the blitz. He loves it until he gets... This time he didn't have time to unload.
You can see everybody coming, and Bostic is untouched. The ball hits the ground, and then watch Jeff Donaldson, 31, and Lyles kind of tip it back and forth, and then Lyles, for a big guy, shows pretty good foot speed. 55 yards and a touchdown.
Lyles, a 4th-year linebacker from Texas Christian. Not that big for a backer, 6'1", 225. Now penalty mark off against the Oilers, sets the ball at about the 7-yard line. So Zendejas will try the extra point. It'll be the equivalent of a 25-yard field goal.
As a new holder, Jeff Gossett, the punter, just brought in, picked up.
Extra point is up and good. So the Oiler defense draws first blood. It's a 7-0 game. Houston Oilers kick it off in a moment. Don Quickie with Bob Trumpy back at the Houston Astrodome, where the Oilers have just blitzed Dan Fouts, and here it is, Trump.
Watch what happens. We're going to stop this tape, and you'll see, count the white hats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus Fouts. And if you count the blue jerseys, you got 8 players, and 25 at the bottom of the screen. That one is the one that just absolutely blasts Fouts in the back. And the blitz works the first time the Houston Oilers use it. And when it works the first time, you can expect it the rest of the day, Don.
So with the 55-yard return of the fumble for a touchdown, Robert Lyles, and the extra point that's good. It's a 7-0 game. Houston, and now they kick it off. Jamie Holland, rookie of the 28-yard line. So Glanville tries to jump on San Diego early. Now they rule that Houston has the ball.
That ball was originally picked up by a San Diego player.
Sort this out.
Yeah, he's got a San Diego ball. That ball is a free ball. Now, a player can come up and make a fair catch, and he must be allowed the room to catch it. But yesterday, Houston was practicing that right here in the Astrodome to try to come up with a trick play. You see, everybody's kind of waiting around for it. That's a free ball. You got to go after it. There you see the San Diego player apparently getting up on it. Can't really tell what the number is, but nevertheless, Chargers ball.
Tim Spencer, the lone setback for San Diego. Chargers down 7-0 early in this game. Spencer hit and knocked down. Coming up to make the play was outside linebacker Johnny Meads, number 91. Very good against the run and not good at all against the pass.
He too was unblocked, came from behind that play. It was an easy tackle for Meads, and so far the Chargers a little disorganized here. This is a very difficult defense to prepare for and identify on every snap.
Fouts with a quick drop, stands in. He finds Lionel Train James ahead for a gain of about 9 yards on a 2nd and 9 play. So it'll bring up 3rd and short for the Chargers at about their 38-yard line. Game clock down to 11:30 and running. First quarter, it's 7-0 Houston.
And I noticed that in the first series, you see once again, well, this is going to be a 3rd down and short, but in the first series, San Diego was exchanging tackles to bring the play in between Kowalski and Thompson, and now they're going back to the hand signals from the sideline.
Chargers have specialized in winning close games. 8 of their 11 games have been decided by 7 points or less, and they're 7-1 in those games. Pitch back, Bernstein, the rookie tight end, turns the corner. First down and plenty more. As this big tight end picked in the first round crashes around the far side. Donaldson, one of the safeties, knocked him down. But Bernstein, a rookie, gets ahead for a Charger first down.
Got to enjoy that particular run. Young man went to Texas A&M, now playing in the Astrodome. And this is a team, probably the only team in the NFL with 4 active tight ends. And they use all 4 of them, San Diego does.
They want to get more production out of Bernstein. They just did there. He has not gotten a lot of chances because of the number of good tight ends. Here's Train James cutting back, taking on defenders, and he gets to midfield on a 1st and 10 carry, a gain of 4 yards on the play. Audrey McMillan, who's starting at the left corner in replacement of injured Steve Brown, made the tackle for Houston.
Already a big plus for San Diego. They converted that 3rd down in the last couple of weeks. 6 of 33 against Seattle and Denver, and the San Diego Chargers allowed 20 of 30 third downs converted in those last 2 games.
Chandler and Anderson come wide to the left, lower portion of your screen. Big pressure on the defense there, and they go to the run, and doing well with the ball inside the 50 and down to the 47-yard line is fullback Tim Spencer of the Chargers, who's knocked down by John Grimsley, Al Smith, and Ray Childress. So it brings up 3rd and about 3, maybe a long 3 for San Diego.
This young man in the middle of the Houston Oilers defense, Al Smith, a rookie, has been a real pleasant surprise. Out of Utah State, very active, not particularly big, but unbelievably strong in the upper body. Good pursuit there to help with Childress on the tackle.
7-0 Houston as Fouts stops to throw. Quick out. He's got a man, Kellen Winslow, but the knockdown is made at the line of scrimmage. And so San Diego will not get the first down due to the good play of safety Jeff Donaldson, the free safety from Colorado, coming up to make the play. And so the punter's on the field now, Mosienko for the Chargers.
Once again, the blitz. Blitz coming all over the place. They're trying to disrupt the offense of the Chargers as best they can. They have a lot of confidence in their safeties to make those tackles. Donaldson makes that one. And Mosienko now on to punt.
Losing their last 2, the Houston Oilers turned the ball over 11 times. And then today on the first pass by Warren Moon, they turned it over again. Right after that, they blitzed Fouts, knocked the ball free, and ran it back 55 yards for a touchdown. The punt downfield is going to bounce inside the 10. Oilers let it roll as the Chargers try to get to it.
In the end zone. Touchback.
Touchback is signaled, so it comes out to the 20-yard line.
Very close to being a spectacular play. Sometimes those punt coverage people get just a little bit excited, and the ball rose in the end zone, cost them 20 yards.
Introducing a high.
Warren Moon's been deeply troubled by the interception in the recent games. Has thrown 6 in the previous 2 games. His first pass today was intercepted. It's 7-0 though. The Oilers lead the Chargers as Moon goes to the run, and again a miscalculation at the line of scrimmage. Somebody left early, and Alan Pinkett's run is whistled dead. Dick Hantek, the referee.
False start. Offense, right guard, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Got to get better for Houston. They have minus 10 yards rushing. 0 for 1 in the pass department and an interception. It's got to get better for him, doesn't it?
Joe Montana's just thrown a touchdown pass to Rathman. Steelers up on favored Seattle 3-0. A game of significance to these two teams. Seattle from the West and Pittsburgh, of course, in the AFC Central with the Houston Oilers. So on the 5-yard call, it's 1st and 15. Back to the run they go, and Alan Pinkett, not big but very quick, weaves ahead. He's knocked down on the play by Joe Phillips. Alan Pinkett at 5'9", 185 pounds, Notre Dame's all-time leading rusher. The Chargers defensively have Lee Williams, Mike Charles, and Joe Phillips across the front. Of course, their brilliant rookie of a season ago is still rehabbing the surgical knee, Leslie O'Neal. Billy Ray Smith has been sensational every game this season for the Chargers at the outside backer position. Banks has made a big contribution, less experience inside. Patterson played on a Super Bowl championship team, started for the Giants last January at the Rose Bowl. Warren Moon stands in, lets her rip, and again his pass comes in high as he tries to make a connection to Willie Drury.
And that's from his shoulder. That's just from his shoulder. Whenever your shoulder is weakened by injury, you don't have the strength in it, and so you throw the ball a little too hard. Now watch him really gun this one. Really, and he just overthrows Drury. He knows it. That's from a lack of practice all week and also the injury to the shoulder. Knowing the situation that Houston is in, this is a must-win situation. You got to get more out of Warren Moon or their quarterback, or they're going to have to go with somebody else.
That is his problem warming up, throwing the ball above and beyond his receivers, and now in the game the same difficulty as from the shotgun. On 3rd and 13, he wings it out, coming underneath the coverage is Drew Hill. The ex-Ram gets out to the 30-yard line. Very close to a first down, but the mark might be just short of it.
It's not enough. One thing you got to admire about Warren Moon, realizes he might be taking a chance with his shoulder the rest of his career, but knowing the situation his football team is in, losing 2 in a row, and he wants to get out there and play. And that short pass was an easy completion for him. Just good defense by San Diego keeps Hill from getting the first down.
His offensive line blocking furiously. They know one hit on Warren Moon and he could be out, not only for the game, for the season. Now the punt by Jeff Gossett, hit very high downfield. Train James backpedaling and takes the ball at the 19.
Watch out.
Nothing that way. Let's see what's up the middle. And Lionel Little, Train James isn't done yet as he gets out to the 29-yard line. You got to throw a net over him and sit on him to get him down. What a player.
Looked like he broke about 7 tackles to gain 6 yards.
Chargers go on offense in a moment. Dan Fouts and the Chargers down 7-0 in the first quarter. 6:58 to play in it. Reminder to our, there's Mike Rozier, who was injured on his first carry, banged up his right shoulder, but apparently back, and we'll see if he's ready to go again. As a reminder, our viewers, that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game. At the conclusion of the game is Fouts, fires and makes a connection. Free ball. Oilers, nobody's got it yet. Does draw a crowd, though, doesn't it?
They're still diving on it. I'm not sure, but I think the ball was intended for Wes Chandler.
It was. Chandler had his hands on it and appeared at first viewing to be a reception and a fumble when he was popped by John Grimsley.
I think Jeff Donaldson's got the ball. Houston ball. It looked like Grimsley hit him. I think you're right, Don. There was excellent protection. Very good protection for Dan Fouts. You can see Chandler there. He's advertising, I'm open. And then suddenly people get back in the game. It looked like Audrey McMillan kind of tipped the ball away. Grimsley made the hit, and then the mad dash is on. Donaldson somehow comes up with it. So now we've had 3 turnovers, 2 by San Diego, 1 by Houston. I believe the replay is looking at it. Here's Hantak. It is a turnover. The catch stands. It's interesting, too, that Houston, coming into today's game in the last 2 weeks, have turned the ball over 11 times. Now they've gotten 2 turnovers already in the first quarter.
And now the very celebrated rookie newcomer to the Oilers, Alonzo Highsmith, is in the game. 3rd player picked in the last draft from Miami of Florida. That's Highsmith. Running with a vengeance. He has been waiting for his chance, and Highsmith busted inside the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. Knocked down on the play by the outside backer, Chip Banks, and inside linebacker Jeffrey Jackson of San Diego.
No one denies Highsmith's ability to run the football, but he's carried it just twice. Once for 3 yards several weeks ago, and the second time he fumbled it. Upset Jerry Glanville to no end. He hasn't played much since, or hadn't carried the ball much since.
He got 6 on that carry to make it 2nd down and 4 for Houston. Moon over the middle, dumps it off, and running with the ball is Alonzo Highsmith down to the 26-yard line. First down on the play, a gain of 10 yards.
They've been waiting for this young man in Houston for a long time. After an extended holdout, threat of a lawsuit, it'll take him a while to catch on to the offense of Houston. Interesting, too, Glanville said this guy didn't run the ball a lot when he was at the University of Miami. He's green. He's still got to learn how to run the ball at all.
High school is a defensive end. Played 1 down in offense his entire high school career. Valentine, another big back, gets the call. A runner from Texas A&M, and Ira Valentine is down close to the 25. Gained only about a yard.
Now, the reason we're seeing a lot of these replacement running backs is that Mike Rozier, on the first carry of the game, in reversing his field, somehow hurt his shoulder. It was x-rayed. He's got his shoulder pads back on. It looks like it won't be long before he's back in there. And he's had an excellent season so far, 4 100-yard rushing days. And he's the guy that can really pound it up in there, and also is an excellent receiver.
It's about a career for Charles White, isn't it? 952?
Yes, it is.
At least in the pros, and here is a handoff, and not much there as the Charger defenders, with cornerback Gil Bird shooting the gap. Aided by the inside backers, makes the knockdown on Alonzo Highsmith, bringing up 3rd down and about 8. Game clock down to 4:30 to play in the first quarter. It's a 7-0 game, Houston. If you joined us late, the Oilers scored when they blitzed Stan Fouts, forced the ball free. It was picked up by linebacker Robert Lyles, and 55 yards later, he was in the end zone for the game's only score. Now the Charger D looking for pass. 3rd down and almost 9. Moon setting in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers in the game. Big rush, big throw. Here's a connection, but there's a penalty knocker down. As Haywood Jeffries, a rookie from North Carolina State, also a first-round draft choice last spring, makes his biggest play so far as an Oiler if it goes, but the Chargers are signaling it's against Houston.
Illegal procedure against Houston. Interesting that Jerry Glanville, well, here Dick Hantak here.
Illegal motion, offense, number 85, turning upfield too early. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Penalty on Drew Hill. Last year, Jerry Glanville had an ex-NFL official come to summer camp with him because they averaged 8 penalties a game, and it just killed him. This year, he hired a real full-time NFL official, and he brought him to training camp, and this year they're averaging 8 penalties a game. The point is, it hasn't helped. And that was their 3rd penalty of the day so far.
3 penalties for 15 yards. I think every team in the league now, Trump, brings an official to camp. A lot of them, it's helped a lot, though.
They didn't do it as much this year as they did last year, but penalties and turnovers have just killed this Houston Oilers team over the last 3 seasons.
Oilers got off to a 6-3 start, shared the lead with Cleveland after 9 games, and then 2 lopsided defeats the last 2 weeks, and all of a sudden the papers are full of possible coaching changes. Will Jackie Sherrill come here from Texas A&M? It hasn't made it any easier for Glanville. Chargers fake the blitz, drop back in coverage, throw, and off the hands at the 11-yard line of Haywood Jeffries. The exact same pattern they struck out on the play called back.
Daniel Hunter, the man in coverage. Jeffries, a very fluid athlete. His speed is deceiving because of his height. 6'3½", almost 6'4". That one just slightly overthrown by Warren Moon, but I think Jeffries should have reached out, kind of dove for that one a little bit.
Tony Zendejas having a great season for the Oilers. He is 16 of 22 on field goals, has not missed an extra point, and he's 6 out of 9 from 40-plus. Ready to try one that'll be a 48-yarder. Plenty of distance. And Zendejas from Culiacán, Mexico, booms it up and through. He played collegiately at Nevada, Reno. And the Oilers extend their lead to 10-0 over the Chargers, who came into this game as a slight favorite in Houston.
Oilers have 10 points and 22 total offensive yards. That's very proficient, I would say.
Dan Fouts checks the clipboard. Oilers have so far stopped the high-power San Diego offense. Chargers have had big problems in the recent weeks, as you know, Trump, running the football. In fact, they've been held to 83 yards rushing over the last 2 games. They had just 17 yards at Seattle and just 66 last Sunday against Denver. And the Chargers have scored only 7 second-half points over the last 3 games, so their offense has really started to come back to the field after some big games early.
One thing about this San Diego offense, it should be rested. In the last 2 weeks, they've run, the San Diego offense has run 91 plays. Their defense has faced 163. Al Saunders, the head coach, realizes the pressure that's on his ball club today to prove to themselves that they do deserve to be where they are.
Another chip shot kickoff. This time the Chargers are waiting for it. Fielded by the big tight end Bernstein, and he turns the corner, and Rod Bernstein from Texas A&M gets it out to the 41-yard line, back in his home state.
If you're wondering if that's a missed kick, not true. That is done on purpose.
White starts up after the play. Looks like somebody pretty small for Houston lining up against somebody pretty big for San Diego Chargers.
There's the drive chart for San Diego already today. If you just turned on the television set. First drive, 2 plays and a fumble. Oiler touchdown. Next drive, 6 plays and a punt. Next drive, 1 play and a fumble. Those are not good numbers.
Houston, a very aggressive team. You see the difficulties that Al Saunders and his Chargers have had over the last 2 games. 1,018 total yards. The hard fact remains, under Saunders in his first full season as head coach, the Chargers have the best record in the American Conference. You can say, well, they were 3-0 in the strike season. Everybody else had a chance to be 3-0 in the strike season, but didn't do it. Least in their division, Lionel James runs the ball and gets across the 40 out to the 41-yard line. That 1st and 10 carry was good for only a yard.
Al Smith on the tackle. That formation that San Diego runs also has a pitch to it. And before this day is done, you'll see Lionel James pitch that thing out to Gary Anderson. They have got some offensive weapons, of course. One of the things you got to do to turn those offensive weapons loose is protect the quarterback.
Gary Anderson going in motion for the Chargers. Fouts against a 3-man rush, gets time, makes the connection to James, and he's ahead for a 1st down. Lionel James on a 2nd down and 10 play comes out of the backfield, loops in behind the linebackers, and Fouts with a perfect strike to him, good for a 10-yard gain.
One thing I've always liked about Dan Fouts is his ability to scan the field. He can find 2nd and 3rd receivers better than anybody that's presently playing the game or has ever played the game.
He takes that picture quickly, drops, reads, and fires.
Blitz.
Long ball. Going for it is the rookie, and he can't come back to it. Timmy Ware was the man going for the ball from Southern California. Holland running a deep pattern, and Timmy Ware, just 5'10" in his 2nd year from USC, could not get back to the ball, a bit underthrown against the blitz.
Patrick Allen was the man in coverage. You can see him, 29. He had a string of 22 straight games in which he did not allow a touchdown thrown over him. It was broken a couple of weeks ago. Still one of the best bump and run coverage cornerbacks you'll find in the NFL.
Now Ware goes wide to the right. Near side. Jamie Holland. Gary Anderson. That's where Fauci's looking. Now he quickly dumps it over the middle, and Anderson takes the ball on a 2nd down and 10 play and gets inside the Houston 45-yard line, where he's knocked down by linebackers Robert Lyles and John Grimsley. It'll bring up 3rd down at about 6 for San Diego.
See how he was able to look around the field? He went to about 4 different receivers before he threw the ball to Anderson. Now watch the way Dan Fouts' head is on a swivel. One, they pick up the blitz. You see the blitz coming from the outside, Johnny Mees. Now look at him look around. Look at him. Wham! Got a very quick release. Always had a reasonably strong arm. Not a super strong arm, but a great field of vision.
He's thrown 8 touchdowns this year. Has been intercepted 11 times. Standing in. He's got to get it going. Now he lets her fly, and it won't be close. That gets picked off, but ruled out of bounds. Domingo Bryant, a tough blitzing defensive back from Texas A&M, caught the ball but came down his feet out of bounds.
Fouts missed a wide open receiver in the middle of the field. Kellen Winslow again. He threw it right into coverage. I think he was just trying to throw it away. Kenny Johnson was there along with Domingo Bryant. So drive stops for San Diego.
Ralph Mosienko, who's 2nd in the American Conference in net yardage, over 43 yards a punt. The leader is Fullage, a replacement players with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's 10-0 Houston as Mosienko hits the ball high. Another penalty marker down. A sloppily played game so far. As the ball is hit into the end zone for a touchback, it'll come out to the 20 depending on the penalty.
That ball was thrown right in the middle of the pile there, right at the snap.
The Chargers really feel if they win today and go to 9-3, they're going to go to the playoffs, and the scenario is unbelievable. If it ever all worked out, they'd be the first team ever, if they went the distance, to be on the home field right through the playoffs. They come out with the best record in the American Conference.
Well, not the way they're playing to this point in the game.
No.
Very uninspired performance by San Diego to this point, sitting at 8-3 and knowing the situation that they're in. Self-confidence, I think, is probably the biggest factor in this game. If you think you can play, you can. If you have just an ounce of doubt, you're the team can smell it and generally take advantage of it. I don't know what the discussion is here, except that I think there are 2 flags on the field.
Most plays, there have been 2 flags or so, it seems. The biggest difference in this game so far has been the aggressive play of the Houston defense. It's surprised San Diego's blockers. It's outrun them. They've missed blocks. Bostic came unimpeded on a blitz and hit Fouts, and that led to the first points of the game, a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Houston's defense has been the key so far. A very aggressive attacking unit, and Chusey Trump, they'll blitz all game long.
You don't pick it up to start with. They will run it on the last play of the game as the officials continue to huddle. Scores have remained pretty much the same. The surprising one is the second panel. Atlanta over Dallas 14-3.
Atlanta in the throes of an awful year, last in the NFL in offense and defense.
Touchback. First down, Houston.
Was no foul. Formation was legal. I think what they were worrying about was those players who report on the punt team, whether or not they had reported. If you get an ineligible number who is eligible to get on field, that could be an illegal formation, but nevertheless, 1st and 10 at the 20.
So the Oilers, who lead the game 10-0, have it 1st and 10 at their 20. Rozier, who gets to the 25-yard line. Jeffrey Jackson, an inside linebacker, made the stop for the Chargers.
Rozier is late blooming for the Houston Oilers, but nevertheless, this season has been a spectacular performer.
Won the Heisman Trophy in 1983 at Nebraska. Not big, but very tough. fastball, 10-200.
Warren Moon has not thrown the ball well at all to this point in the ball game.
I think Goofy's doing well to be in there at all with a very serious shoulder injury. Now he looks, lets her fly, and he's got a connection. Downfield it goes to Drew Hill, and Ernest Givens picks it up, and Givens gets across for a first down. Gain of about 11 yards on the play.
Gil Byrd was the man in coverage, and Byrd, of course, respecting Ernest Givens' speed, was giving him a lot of room. It was just a hitch. Warren Moon goes back 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, turns, throws it out there, and that's from the near hash to the far sideline. So it looks like at this point, Warren Moon's shoulder is all right. They're going to let the clock expire for the end of the first quarter.
Get the wind at their back, huh?
Yeah.
Hot and humid outside, believe it or not, in Houston, Texas today. Inside, it's always the same. 72 and clear. Although it has rained in here with condensation building up on the Astrodome roof. Back after this. We're ready now to start the second quarter. The Oilers jumping off to a 10-0 lead in this game over San Diego, and the Oilers have the ball at their 35-yard line. First down and 10 as Dan Fouts and Al Saunders confer on the sideline. Ellen Winslow, the many-time All-Pro tight end of the San Diego Chargers, sitting to Dan Fouts' right, as their offense has not been able to move against a very aggressive Houston defense that is liable to send as many as 8 people at the quarterback. Soon they're going to get burned doing that, though.
Well, the timely blitz, though, is the thing that's helped the Houston Oilers. And then the big hit, too, that was put on Wes Chandler for the other turnover. And that's pretty much been the feeling, the emotion of the game.
A win today for Houston. It would be their 7th and would be the most since the team went 7-9 6 years ago. Charger win today would be their most since going 10-6 back in 1981. Moon on 1st and 10, hands off, and Rozier breaks the crust and rushes into the secondary of the Chargers across midfield. Mike Rozier runs ahead for a gain of 19 yards and a first down.
Lead blocker was Alonzo Highsmith, 32. The little hesitation. Highsmith gets a good help on the inside linebacker, Jeffrey Jackson, and then Rozier. Looks like that shoulder's all right. He lands right on it, bounces up. Biggest pickup of the day for the Houston Oilers. Alonzo seems to be taken with the TV screen up here in the Astrodome, trying to see himself play in that 32.
Handoff, running high with the ball is Ray Wallace. Second-year running back from Purdue. Takes it ahead for a gain of very close to 10 yards. They'll spot him down at the Charger 38-yard line. A gain of 9 yards on the play as the game clock's down to 14 minutes to go in the first half. 10-0 Houston.
To this point in the season, the Chargers are allowing close to 150 yards rushing per game. It's the one thing that's probably kept them from being a dominating football team. Third down conversions by their opponents, and the rushing yards have just eaten San Diego up.
Elvis Patterson and Gil Byrd at the corners, and they're playing way off the Houston receivers. As Wallace dips outside, Billy Ray Smith runs him down and makes the connection and knockdown, but it's not enough to stop the first down run. He got 3 and a first down to the Charger 35-yard line.
Well, you can see that San Diego team walking back to the huddle. They look very, very uninspired. Now, the Houston Oilers offensive line is doing an excellent job of getting the defense off the line of scrimmage. But there's a lot of hands-on hips by the San Diego Chargers in the huddle. Just kind of standing there wondering what's going on. They need something to turn their fortunes here, get their heads in the game. That first turnover has really cost San Diego a lot of emotion.
Moving on first down. Up the middle to his tight end, Jamie Williams, and he's ahead inside the 20-yard line and down to the 15 or 14. Gary Plummer stopped what might have been a touchdown. It was good as it was for 21 yards. And a Charger is down. Looks like linebacker Chip Banks down at the 40-yard line.
Williams goes in motion, and all he does is find a seam in the defense. He's not really running a pattern. He's just finding a seam. Right outside Gary Plummer, right inside the cornerback. And
so we'll take a break while...
Today's game is brought to you by Radio Shack, the technology store. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by the power tool people at Black & Decker.
That last play was coming on a blitz, and he got hit on the hip. Looked like a hip pointer. Moon so far 4 of 7 for 53 yards to 4 different receivers.
He's been spreading it around, and the Oilers looking to build on their 10-0 lead. The handoff to Rozier, running hard. That offensive line loaded with high number 1 draft choices like the guards Munchak and Matthews. And right tackle Dean Steinkuhler, former Outland Trophy winner. They've split open the defensive front of San Diego. Slant runs behind trap blocks, and now the Oilers are challenging again, leading this game 10-0, and they have it. Second down and about a yard for the first down, 2nd and 6 for a touchdown.
He was down. No question that he was down. Matthews, the right guard, has started every offensive line position for the Houston Oilers in his career.
Oilers could be putting a knockout punch on the Chargers early in this game as Highsmith breaks a tackle and finally is knocked down at the 4-yard line. Didn't get much, but he did get a first down. So for the Oilers, it's point blank with 1st and goal inside the 5, and a player's down for Houston. Looks like Rozier down again.
Rozier again. He was the lead blocker that time for Alonzo Highsmith.
San Francisco building on a lead at cold Green Bay. A lot of people thought the 49ers would have trouble there. 49ers might be going to the Super Bowl. Seattle, after trailing 3-0, has now come up with 3 field goals to lead Pittsburgh 9-3. Cincinnati, your old team, Trump, finds a way to lose every week. How will they do it this week? 10-0 lead. They'll have to work on it.
Yeah, 10 points is not enough. Not near enough.
Not with 2 minutes to go, it's not enough. Mike Rozier was a blocker on this play. You'll see him throw 1 block and then another, and then he goes down.
He's right at the left of your screen. He misses the first guy. Then he starts to get up. Then he gets his leg rolled on. He's been on the carpet quite a few times here so far. The best thing for Houston and Alonzo Highsmith is that he's hanging on to the ball. Highsmith has not put the ball on the ground yet.
Rozier's a gamer, though, and he again goes off. 2nd time today and early in the game. In fact, on his first carry, banged his shoulder when he was hit hard by Elvis Patterson. Went to the locker room. X-ray proved negative, and he came back out to play again. Now he goes off with 11:57 to play in the first half. Oilers leading the Chargers 10-0.
This drive started at the Oiler 20. Now 8 plays have been executed by the Oilers. They are in total domination in this football game. San Diego's got to do something just to get their heads in the game. They're not here yet. And they better get here in a hurry, and they're going to have no chance whatsoever. Certainly not playing like an 8-3 football team.
No, they're not. Both these teams trying to come out of 2-game losing streaks. Both beaten badly their last 2 games. 1st and goal for Houston. Hand up. Alan Pinkett spins onto the goal line. He's in. Alan Pinkett breaking tackles. Caroms across the goal line and scores the 2nd touchdown of this day. The first to be scored by the Oiler offense as they build their lead to 16-0.
That's Pinkett's first touchdown score rushing of the season, too. Same play that Rozier was running right up the middle. The defensive line of the Chargers not getting it done to this point.
Warren Moon, a doubtful starter at quarterback, has been king the Houston offense. As his coach said, he's too tough to surrender, and Moon started has played all the way so far. The extra point by Zendejas. Good again, and it's 17-0 Houston. Mike Rozier is going to be ready for the whirlpool after this one. He's back and running on the sideline again after being banged up a 2nd time in the game. The Oilers off to a very fast start with 11:36 to play in the first half. Have opened up a 17-0 lead on the Chargers. High short kickoff. Jamie Holland, rookie from Ohio State, brings it back for San Diego, which is cut down at the 25-yard line. Let's see if Dan Fouts and the Charger offense can muster a drive. They've not had one yet.
Well, watch that touchdown again. Watch the right guard, Matthews, sets up like it's going to be a pass and then runs a full block. There's not really an outstanding block here, but they all stay with him. And that allows Pinkett to score his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Score of importance to Oiler fans. Indianapolis has gone in front of Cleveland 3-0 on a Biasucci field goal in the second quarter. Fouts fires, makes the connection. First down and some more as the ball is out to the 41-yard line. Pete Holohan, sure-handed, makes the reception over the middle for a gain of 15 yards.
Probably the best hands on the football team. Everywhere you look, this San Diego Charger offense has unbelievable talent. That time Keith Bostic makes a saving tackle. Holohan is still running.
3 tight ends in the game. Kellen Winslow's in, so's Holohan, and so is the rookie Rod Bernstein. Power set, 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Fouts getting more protection from the extra tight end, throws downfield, another connection on a first down for San Diego. The ball is delivered to Wes Chandler, who goes high to get it, comes down with the ball, hit by Jeff Donaldson. Now, for the first time in this game, San Diego offense starts to hit on all 8. They're up to speed and moving the ball.
And it looks like Wes Chandler jumps a little too quickly on this one because he catches the ball as he's coming down. He's trying to hang there in the air. And then he's hammered by Jeff Donaldson. But one thing you notice about these receivers when they play Houston, most of the time the ball's caught and the receiver is standing still.
Goes to his spot, and Fouts is there with the ball. Now on 1st and 10, Fouts looks and fires again, and this connection at the 34-yard line. Came in a bit low. Diving for the ball was Bernstein, the rookie tight end, who couldn't make the play, and that stops the clock with 10:03.
Several ways to run a pass pattern, and this time through motion, all you're trying to do is get Bernstein, the tight end, up through the seam of the zone. You see him outside Bostic, and inside Bostic and outside Grimsley. Just can't quite hang on to the football, slightly underthrown by Dan Fouts, incomplete.
Well, it brings up 2nd down and 10 as you see Fouts' numbers. He was blitzed, forced to fumble, led to the first score of the game today. When the linebacker ran it in for 55 yards and a touchdown. Here's a throw, but unable to get to the ball is swift little Lionel James. And now a critical down comes up, and it's been critical the last 3 weeks for San Diego. 3rd down. They've just not been able to convert 3rd downs when they've had the ball. And conversely, when their opposition's had it on 3rd down, they've converted almost 70% over the last 3 weeks.
Last 4 weeks, Dan Fouts, too, has thrown just 2 touchdowns and given up 7 interceptions. And a lot of them have come on this particular down.
17-0 Houston. 3rd and 10 for Fouts and the Chargers. Big rush. Open man, too high. James, that was Anderson who couldn't get to it. Anderson had the defense beaten, but the ball was too high even for the super athlete Gary Anderson, who went to the moon trying to get it.
Again, the Oilers came with the safety blitz. That time Jeff Donaldson. You see the end of the play. Patrick Allen is out there on Gary Anderson. Overthrown, and I think that's the product of the pressure that's been put on Dan Fouts to this point in the ballgame.
So Ralph Mosienko on the field to try to punt for the 3rd time today. Kenny Johnson, number 22, is the man back deep for Houston. Low snap, but Mosienko fields it nicely. An excellent punt, hit very high, forces a fair catch inside the 20. Living dangerously, Kenny Johnson fingertip catches the ball. And the Oilers, with 9:44 to play in the first half and a 17-0 lead, send their offense back out. 18-0 Oilers in the second quarter, somewhat of a surprise score. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. And Trump, I think the Chargers have never really come back from that sack of Fouts that led to a touchdown. It was a knockout punch perhaps early.
Yeah, you're right, Don. When you play a game that you have to win, every break that goes against you is magnified by about 100 times. And, of course, when you're on the road, that 7 points feels like 14 against you. San Diego just emotionally not in this game yet.
Warren Moon on 1st and 10. Throws and makes the connection to his tight end. Jamie Williams, high draft choice of the New York Giants that they gave up on. They waived him when he came out of Nebraska after drafting him in the 3rd round. He's been a very good player for the Houston Oilers. A running, catching tight end, getting a lot more work today. Had only 7 receptions coming into this game, has 3 today.
Again, good pass protection, and Warren Moon just taking advantage of the seam in the defense. Now watch this completion. It's not really a pattern run by Jamie Williams. It's almost straight up the field between the linebackers, and Moon hits him.
Again, it's first down for the Oilers. They go to the run, and here comes Rozier. Cut down, good open tackle. Martin Bayless, one of the safeties, came up and made the play.
The one thing the San Diego Charger defense was doing in their 8-game winning streak was blitzing, creating havoc. A lot of movement around. In the last couple of weeks, they've been very, very conservative. The same is true today. This was a turnover defense until a couple of weeks ago. And turnover defense by blitzing and being up in everybody's face. Now they're just kind of sitting there, Don.
Loss on that play, though, makes it second down and about 13. Moon really fires and hits Givens coming up the right flank. Best play of this game on offense. Warren Moon, sore shoulder and all, drills a tight spiral into the hands of the fleet Ernest Givens. There is a penalty marker down.
Elvis Patterson was the man in coverage. That's a 21-yard pickup. And now the questions about Warren Moon's shoulder. That's done.
What a throw. What a throw.
This is going to go against San Diego, too, so the catch will stand.
Face mask, defense, number 34, 15 yards, first down.
That's intentional. That's a 36-yard gain, 21 on the catch, 15 on the penalty. That time the Chargers came with a blitz, and that time the wide receivers were able to get inside those cornerbacks. And watch Moon's throw here. 1, 2, 3-step drop right on the line. Givens makes that catch. He's now got 99 for his career. The next one, the magic 100 for Ernest Givens.
The Oilers strike again, and now they have the ball first and 10 at the 32-yard line of San Diego. 17-0 Houston lead. Running the ball and running hard is Alonzo Highsmith, a 235-pound rookie fullback from Miami of Florida. Many people at Miami felt that it was Highsmith, not Testaverde, who won the Heisman, that was the best player on that Miami team last year.
Well, you can see Alonzo again checking out the screen. He must have seen himself on TV run that football.
Heck yes.
Certainly got the right number. If I'm a running back in the NFL, that's the number I want. That's worked well for a lot of guys, hasn't it?
He could play a lot of places. Jimmy Johnson, the Miami coach, told us that he was also the best pass rusher on the team in practice. They didn't play him on defense. Highsmith with 4 carries for 13 yards. Second and 5. Moon has the ball tipped away. Looked like big Lee Williams, number 99, got a hand on it. That brings up third down. Now the San Diego defense has to hold to keep the Charger or to keep the Oilers from getting more points. And it's been third down. It's been the nemesis of this defense.
You can see Lee Williams, left side of your screen, doesn't really get a lot of penetration, but then he gets his hands up in the air, right side of your screen. Ball just bounces right off of it. Oilers to this point, though, 0 for 2 in third downs. And here's Alonzo Highsmith blocking Chip Banks, and actually that's not bad. Banks is a difficult guy to block if you're a running back.
Last week, John Elway of the Broncos and his offense converted 12 of 15 third downs for first downs against San Diego. It was third and about 6. They whistle dead.
Too much time. Delay of game. Looked like Warren Moon was trying to audible.
Offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty.
Looked like Moon was trying to audible because the Chargers had gone with a bump and run coverage. He was going to something else, couldn't get it off in time. So 0 for 2 in third down conversions. It's now going to be third down and 10.
At Cleveland, Dean Biasucci has kicked a second field goal for the Indianapolis Colts over the heavily favored Cleveland Browns. Indianapolis leads 6-0. If the Colts should go on to upset Cleveland and the Oilers win here today, Houston would be back in a first-place tie. With 3 to play, but we've got a long way to go here as they do in Cleveland. Moon on 3rd and 11. Fires and connects. With the ball is Drew Hill. Knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A very good defensive play. Elvis Patterson coming up and making the strike. There was really a gain of only a yard. So 4th down arises, and the long-range field goal kicker, Tony Zendejas, comes out again for the Oilers. will be at the 38-yard line. A 48-yard attempt. He boomed a long one earlier. He hit a 48-yarder earlier, you'll remember. Again, he has plenty of distance, and he has the range. Zendejas, only outstanding, hits from 47. With 7 minutes left to go in the first half, the Oilers are shocking the Chargers 20-0.
Could be even worse. You know that? Houston has 20 points. It could be even worse. Now, I haven't the slightest idea what San Diego can do now to get back in this football game except for somebody to kick a chalkboard at halftime.
There's the Indianapolis-Cleveland score, 6-0 now in the second quarter. Giants continue to lead the Philadelphia Eagles. San Francisco the 10-point lead at Green Bay. Seattle up on Pittsburgh by 6. So the Chargers get it on offense again, and if something doesn't happen on this drive, Trump, they might be thinking about the trip home.
There's not much else they can do. They've got the entire offense assembled on the Charger bench. They ought to get the whip out.
Zendejas stops the football high and hard. It's taken by Jamie Holland at the 4-yard line. A very fast wide receiver brings it back nicely for the Chargers out to the 34-yard line. Now Fouts in the offense comes out again, hoping to make something work. Nothing has so far as Mojo does his numbers. He does after each score. Now you'll see the roll. Oh, a slide now. Used to do a shoulder roll.
That's concrete underneath the AstroTurf now, so it's the hook slide.
Mojo going IR with those shoulder rolls. First and 10 for Fouts and the Chargers. Quick out goes as they isolate Lionel James one-on-one, and James breaks it all the way across to the 50-yard line. John Grimsley finally ran him out of bounds.
Interesting way the Chargers run that pattern. Holohan, the tight end, goes in motion, and he's the personal blocker for Lionel James. That's a 16-yard pickup. And the Chargers need a lot of those in a row to get back in this game in a hurry.
James goes wide left again at the top of your screen. Wide to the right is Chandler. Tim Spencer on a straight-ahead give on first down. Hits down to the 47-yard line with 6:35 to play in the first half.
On last night when we had our conversation with Al Saunders, one of his priorities for this season was to be a better running team. But now when you're down 20-0, you can pretty much throw the running game out the window. And that's where San Diego has really had their problems. They've been behind so much in the last couple of weeks, they've had to throw it on almost every down. And it doesn't work when you don't have balance.
Only have 25 yards rushing today on 2nd and 6. Fouts looks. Lets her go. Anderson has the ball and loses it at the 29-yard line.
That's a great play by John Grimsley.
John Grimsley appeared to have gotten a hand down as Gary Anderson was coming down with the ball.
Grimsley playing with a very, very bad ankle. You can see him limping. But just as Anderson goes to catch that football, Grimsley knocks it away. Watch the end of this play. Now, I think Anderson's got this ball in his hands.
He does.
And when he brings it down, Grimsley's hand goes up and knocks it out. Incomplete pass.
Third down and a big one. The rush will be coming. It'll be coming hard. Chargers only 1 for 4 on third down conversions. They need 6. Trailing 20-0. Long ball. They're going for it all. It's not going to be close. Gary Anderson pulled up on his pattern. Fouts flew the fly, and Anderson pulled up at the 20, and then apparently thought he couldn't get to the ball.
Interesting choice of play. They need 6 yards, and he goes for the distance. And he goes for the distance against Patrick Allen. Now, the other cornerback, Audrey McMillan, is making his first start in the NFL. Fouts just one of his last 6 passes completed.
And Ralph Mosienko on the field to punt yet again for San Diego. His 4th of the day. 5:58 to play in the first half. It's 20-0. Houston's in the lead. High hit downfield, a long spiral. Johnson lets it roll. Chargers get their first break of the day as the ball takes a hop back upfield toward them. They down it at the 5. Randy Kirk was down a 41-yard punt. So Houston gets the ball again, but has the long field to go, as we remind you that Dan Reeves and the Denver Broncos, as good as anybody in the league at home and maybe as good as anybody in the league anywhere right now, go against the New England Patriots today as it's a doubleheader day on NBC Sports. Most of you will see that game. In some parts of the country, you'll be watching a very good Buffalo team, rising fast with its outstanding young linebackers, Cornelius Bennett and Shane Conlon, and its quarterback, Jim Kelly, going in to go against Bo and the Raiders. Bo was a perfect 10 Monday night. Warren Moon has too much on it. Ernest Gibbons running an out pattern at the 29-yard line, and Moon for the first time was down after he threw the ball. He was popped.
Now real pressure on the San Diego defense to at least give its offense a short field. They need to get Houston out after 3 downs here. Moon's got plenty of good protection, and he's hammered at the end by, it looks like, Lee Williams. Gets him down.
Joe Montana back in peak form in a carryover from last week. He was 5 for 5 in his last 5 passes. He now breaks Ken Anderson's consecutive completion record of 20 in a row. His performance today at Green Bay.
So it's 22 in a row, huh? 5 of 5 last week, 17 of 17 today by Joe Montana.
Dumping it off in the chill of northern Wisconsin.
Hey, if it works.
Hey.
And it has worked for Joe Montana.
So now it's 3rd and long for Houston. If the Charger defense can hold here, they could get good field position with 5:15 to play in the first half.
Yeah, San Diego's defense cannot let Houston squirm off the hook here. There's enough time left in the first half that San Diego can salvage something out of these first 2 quarters. 4 wide receivers for Houston.
He's like that over the middle paddle. Somebody left early. Somebody was out of the blocks. Ernest Gibbons, and now here's a sack in the end zone.
That's a touchdown.
Either a touchdown or a safety. It might be a safety.
Well, the ball came loose.
Might be.
I think the ball came loose before he hit the ground.
Well, we're going to review it.
But it's at least a safety, that's for sure. And the penalty is on Houston.
Because you think that, we're calling for a review.
Okay, let's do. That looked to me like, well, you can't really tell from that angle. And it's going to be at least a safety, which means 2 points for San Diego, and they'll get the ball.
Offense, number 81 was in motion. The penalty is declined. The quarterback was in the grasp.
Wow.
It is a safety.
What do you think?
He was down. He was down. So the safety stands. And, of course, Houston will have to punt from their own 20.
Overall, special teams play by the Chargers has been good this year. That was, of course, the work of the pass rush. That's been one area of San Diego that's helped this team get to 8-3. Now the Chargers are going to get the ball in good field position as Houston gets a free kick from its 20.
That's a strange score, isn't it? 20-2. You don't see those very often. Now, if you wonder why all teams punt here as opposed to using the kickoff man on a free kick, you cannot use a tee. So in order for him to kick from there, he'd have to kick from the AstroTurf, which is never as good as from the tee, and that's why they use the punter.
Free kick is also, if it's upfield more, can be a field goal. There's been games that have been won when somebody signaled for a fair catch and free kicked after it.
That's true. You can also have an onside free kick. An onside punt works. Don Shula is the only coach in the league who's done it, and he's done it twice. And both times it worked. I'm not saying it's going to happen here. I'm saying it's a possibility, not a probability.
So the the game clock shows 4 minutes and 53 seconds left to play in the first half as Al Saunders looking for answers from his Chargers. Outs in the offense should get good field position here after Warren Moon was sacked in the end zone for a safety. First points of the day for the Chargers scored by their pass rush. They trailed 20-2. Jeff Gossett, a longtime Cleveland Brown, picked up this week as a free agent, ready to free kick the ball with a punt. Lionel James, the man back deep, and he'll take the ball. Well hit downfield. James will take it at his 23. To the 30. 40. Marker in. Could be an illegal block by the San Diego Chargers on the return as their offense comes out.
Usually is an illegal block on the return. Well, at least now the Chargers have a little better field position, but this penalty is going to put them back a little farther.
Illegal block in the back on the return, number 82, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Rod Bernstein called for the illegal block. So what the Chargers had hoped would be good field position turns out not to be so good after all. They'll start from their 33-yard line, trailing the Houston Oilers 20-2 with 4:45 to play in the first half. That's ready to start firing on first down with Chandler wide to the left at the top of your screen. The run he goes instead to Adams, and he comes back to the near side and gets out to the 37-yard line. Oilers drop right back in a deep zone coverage looking for the deep throw.
John Grimsley again on the tackle, number 59. He has played in the last couple of weeks, and he probably shouldn't have with a bad ankle. You got a lot of players playing for the Houston Oilers that if this season were over, they'd be sitting on the sideline for the rest of the year. They're that hurt. Grimsley's one of them. Blitz
Second down and 6. Fouts with the back pedal, takes a look, finds a man. It's Kellen Winslow, and he's got a first down out to the 45-yard line. Jeff Donaldson, the free safety, made the tackle.
They're beginning now to make a little headway here, taking a very conservative route, San Diego is, as opposed to going upstairs. You got to watch Houston in these situations. This is when they really like to blitz, to destroy a drive.
On first down, Fouts gets time against a three-man rush, throws an out pattern that's dropped. Ball a bit too much on it for Wes Chandler. For the most part, Fouts has not been on target today, and Wes Chandler couldn't get to that one, and so it brings up second down and 10 for the Chargers at their 45-yard line.
The majority of the completions that Fouts has had today has been more towards the middle of the field than to the outside.
Our producer today for NBC Sports is Kenneth Edmondson. Our director, Richard Klein. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. We have 3:32 to go in the first half. Chargers looking to get into the end zone. They're down 20-2. Again, running hard and getting some yardage is Curtis Adams. Second-year power back crosses midfield and gets down to the 49-yard line of Houston, where he's knocked down by Ray Childress and Jeff Donaldson.
They still got an Oiler down on the field, too.
Next snap will be third down and 3 for San Diego.
There's 2 players down. It looks like Adams. Yeah, their face masks got hooked together. Couldn't tell who the other one was. He'll be the guy without the helmet. It's Robert Lyles. Rather interesting. Curtis Adams and Robert Lyles hit so hard that their face masks fused.
A couple of bucks fighting in the woods.
Yeah, stay out of the way, those 2 guys. San Diego 1 of 5 in third down conversions. Their problems continue. They can't seem to keep the drive alive.
Very important score for the Oilers. Indianapolis has now extended its lead over favored Cleveland to 9-0 second quarter. Fouts looks, sidearms the ball, not even close. Chandler tried to come back at the ball, but had no chance on a reception.
On the intended, the initial receiver there was Kellen Winslow. But in trying to get off the line of scrimmage, he tripped and fell. So Wes Chandler looked like about the 3rd or 4th receiver. Patrick Allen is the man in coverage, ball thrown low. All they were trying to do was come up with about 4 yards, and there you see Winslow. He had just gotten up off the ground.
Dan Fouts has now completed only 2 of his last 9 passes, and again, Mosienko's on the field to punt for San Diego. High spiral. Johnson fair catches the ball for the Oilers at his 13-yard line, and there Houston goes on offense with 2:50 to go in the first half. And the Oilers continue to lead the game 20-2.
On that last carry, watch what happens here as Curtis Adams and Robert Lyles somehow get their helmets hooked up. Looks like the rutting season up in the Rockies. It takes the officials and a couple of players to come over there and get them unhooked.
Warren Moon playing very well despite a badly bruised shoulder that it was feared would keep him out of this game. Goes to the run this time. Alan Pinkett, who scored a touchdown on his previous carry, is thrown back by the San Diego defense, but they might have been over-aggressive as a penalty marker comes in after the play.
You never win those. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 44, late hit, 15 yards.
Martin Bayless, strong safety, was called for unnecessary roughness. The Chargers have 21 defensive players on their roster. Only 6 started their careers with San Diego. Most of them came from other places, as did Bayless. He was a former Buffalo Bill. Bensy Glenn was drafted by Indianapolis. Patterson was a Giant.
They have 11 #1 picks, 8 of theirs and 3 of somebody else's, too.
So the penalty assessment against the Chargers gives Moon and the Oilers a first down at their 28-yard line. Not much there. San Diego's defense comes a hitting, and the knockdown is made on Alonzo Highsmith by the inside backers for the Chargers, Thomas Benson and Jeffrey Jackson. Game clock winding down close to the 2-minute warning now. 2:10 to play, and that will probably be the last play before we get a timeout.
Houston certainly in no hurry. San Diego comfortable at 20-2 against them.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy as Dan Fouts checks upstairs with the assistant coaches. Mark Herman sitting next to him, the backup quarterback. Chargers unable to move the ball on offense today. The Houston defense, aggressive and blitzing, has been a big part of this success story for the Oilers. They're up 20-2.
I was going to mention that phone call that Dan Fouts is making probably going to be a long one.
Time of possession just about equal, but not the scoreboard. Handoff. Oilers go to the run. A big back, Ira Valentine. Another Texas A&M Aggie running the ball for the Houston Oilers. Now the Chargers take one of their 3 allotted timeouts.
Timeout.
Oilers still have their
San
3
Diego,
left.
their first
1:51 to
timeout.
play. So Al Saunders, whose team shut out Houston last year, way down today.
I'm talking to June Jones. I'm kind of surprised at San Diego taking the timeout after the 2-minute warning. You take a timeout before the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning is the second timeout, and then the defense only has to expend 2 as opposed to 3 to get the ball back. Almost took that timeout as an afterthought.
Oilers set on the shotgun now. 3rd down. They're 0-4. The Houston Oilers on 3rd down conversion tries. Penalty marker fired down again as Warren Moon lets a rip on the run, makes the connection to Drew Hill, and he's got a first down if it goes. The marker is down in the San Diego secondary. So 3rd and 5 play.
Got to admire Warren Moon running out there, taking a chance with his throwing shoulder.
At halftime, we'll be going to NFL Live as the 12th Sunday of NFL play is reviewed. A lot of markers in this game, and here's the call on the last from Dick Hancock.
Holding. Offense, number 84. Defense number 34. Penalties offset. Third down.
Holding, and so was Elvis Patterson. So they're offsetting, and we'll do it over again. A third down and long 4 play from the Oilers' 33-yard line. Colts and Browns now at halftime. Seattle and Pittsburgh running the ball a lot. They're already in the third quarter at Pittsburgh. That's the next opponent for the Chargers at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium next Sunday. We'll review how it all happened when we go to NFL Live at halftime. Right now we have 1:42 to play in the first half. Moon sets up and goes in and gives to the run. A good play, and up back kicks the ball, and Alan Pinkett is ahead. And he's going to be close, but just short of a first down on a third down try.
They've run that play a lot, where from the shotgun, the snap, it's hard to tell exactly who's going to get it. That time Pinkett did.
.29 to go in the first half, and the San Diego offense coming back out just after Lionel James fair caught a punt from Houston. 42-yard punt by Gossett, and now Fouts and the Chargers again with the long field ahead of them. They are some 79 yards from the Houston end zone. The Oilers lead the game 20-2. Biggest play of this game came early. Fouts dropped to throw. Bostic, strong safety for Houston, hit him from the blind side with a blitz. The ball popped free. Donaldson, the other safety, was blitzing, tipped it. It was grabbed in midair by Robert Lyles, and he sprinted 55 yards to the end zone. That was in the first quarter. The Oilers took a 7-0 lead on that defensive play, extended the lead with a field goal by Zendejas, then scored 10 more in the second quarter, building up a 20-0 lead, and then a safety on a sack of Warren Moon gave the Chargers their only points. It's 20-2. Terrific reception by Wes Chandler. One of the all-time best coming up the flank, and now the Chargers quickly go into alignment without a huddle. Fouts backpedaling on first down. Looks and fires. Again a connection far sideline. Kellen Winslow caught the ball, and he's going to be marked down at the 41-yard line. Yet another first down.
Wes Chandler caught
looked
that.
like he caught it, and then Winslow came up with it. He tried a lateral to him.
That's exactly what it was.
Chandler caught it and lateral to Winslow, but they ruled Chandler down.
Well, the clock continues to run.
Fouts wisely guns the ball away on first down just to get the clock stopped and get some time to reconnoiter his troops and get things started with 44 seconds to play.
He was also yelling at the referee, saying that we got the clock stopped over there on the far side. Chandler made that catch and then lateraled it to Kellen Winslow, and it looked like Winslow stepped out of bounds, but they didn't give him the stoppage of the clock. That's what it
the old hook and ladder that Miami ran against San Diego in that memorable playoff game.
The referee right there is signaling, though, that Wes Chandler was already, Winslow was already out of bounds.
Second and 10 for San Diego. Fouts looks, he throws, makes a connection, but Anderson trying to cut back, drops the ball before he had it. And there's a penalty marker down anyway in the San Diego backfield. It might have been a holding call or maybe a roughing the passer. We'll see. Fouts was clapping, so he might have heard good news.
The last reception now, the forward progress of Wes Chandler was stopped, and therefore the clock kept going.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, number 59, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's John Grimsley. Had a whale of a first half so far, but that penalty certainly helps the Chargers' chances here now.
This is a very important drive for San Diego. They're down 20-2 with 40 seconds to play in the first half. If they take it in, go into the locker room, they could be right back in this game in the third quarter. They've not been close to the Houston end zone yet today.
Oilers with 6 DBs, Don.
Winslow running and gets out of bounds. No, they rule he's inbound, so the Chargers quickly go into alignment. Getting onto the 15-yard line. Game clock ticking down. Winslow with a very spirited effort, catching the ball, fingertip reception on the dead run. Now Fouts takes a look. Guns and fires deep. Anderson could not get the ball in bounds. It caroms off his hands, and that stops the clock. 15 seconds to play. Second down and 10 comes up for the Chargers at the 15-yard line of Houston.
That last catch by Kellen Winslow, I thought he was tackled and rolled out of bounds. The officials don't give you that sideline much when in the final ticks of a half of the game. You got to go clearly out of bounds, apparently. They got time for one throw, maybe two if it's a quick one, and then a field goal.
That's on 2nd and 10. Blitz. He gets it away, but Winslow can't get to the ball. Dan Fouts was blasted by Kenny Johnson coming on a blitz, and also by Jeff Donaldson.
Donaldson had great coverage on Kellen Winslow. Fouts is going to try to put it up there quickly, so he's got another chance at it. They need points.
Johnson, the nickelback, came on the blitz and hammered Dan Fouts chest high just as the ball came in.
And Donaldson, the man in coverage. Chargers need points of any kind. Chargers also 1 of 7 in third down conversions. No numbers, no statistic.
Need more than a field goal. 3rd and 10. Oilers lining up to blitz and do. Here's a marker down as Fouts is hammered. Dan Fouts is blasted, and he's down at the 25-yard line.
That's the second shot he's taken right in the middle of the back, and both times it's been Keith Bostic. First time it happened, the fumble that resulted in a touchdown, I think that's the defense offsides. It is the defense offsides. But Dan Fouts pays. There's 7 seconds left now. See everybody up there cheating at the line of scrimmage.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 3rd down.
There's Bostic, number 25. So they bring in the field goal kicker.
Vince Abbott comes in to try a field goal, so San Diego tries to come away with this with something. 7 seconds to go in the half. Field goal by Abbott is up, and it's good. 4 seconds to play in the first half, so San Diego will have to kick it off before the half ends, but the 27-yard field goal is good, and the offense of the Chargers scores its first points of this game in the closing seconds of the first half. It is a 20-5 count. The Houston Oilers continue to lead.
That last penalty by Houston, their 6th of the day, and probably a good penalty to take. I mean, they didn't have much choice. Nothing wrong with cheating the line of scrimmage. You can't let them get the pass off. They didn't. You give them the 5 yards, you'll give them the 3 points.
Trump, in looking to assess common opponents, they're pointing out that they both played the Colts at Indianapolis. Oilers were destroyed there. Chargers won there. Both played Cleveland at home. Chargers beat the Browns at home. Oilers were blasted by Cleveland here in the Astrodome 2 games ago. In fact, as we pointed out, the Oilers have given up 91 points in their last 2 games. That's what's remaining at New Orleans. A tough assignment, then home to play divisional rivals Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
That's the rest of the AFC Central. Houston's problems is that a lot of their losses have come against AFC East teams. New England, Buffalo, Indianapolis.
Chargers by an onside kick. 1 second left.
We got an offsides penalty, I believe, against San Diego. The point I was making is that Houston can't get in a tie with anybody because in the tiebreaker, they're going to lose. For San Diego, it's a shame that they seem to be wasting an 8-game winning streak.
Frustrations breaking loose now as people start to swing. Elvis Patterson was in there. AFC Central Division. Cleveland and Houston both 3-1 in the division. So it'd be an interesting dilemma for the Browns and the Oilers if the games continue as they have. The Oilers and Browns would be tied for the lead and tied in divisional record. Cleveland losing 9-0 today to the Indianapolis Colts in the 3rd quarter. Has Cincinnati next Sunday at Cleveland's Lakefront Stadium. Then 2 tough ones on the road. To the west to play the Raiders, to the Steel City to play Pittsburgh.
Place that they do not win very often. Three Rivers.
18 games in a row.
Three River Stadium. But the last couple of years, they've managed to win there already. Take that back. Just last year they won there.
If not the best played first half of the season, this could be the longest.
I'll vote for the longest. I'm not voting for the best played.
1 second left in the first half, and it's a 20-5 game. The Houston Oilers are in the lead. 10 points in each quarter. Coach Jerry Glanville, the man in black, was defensive coordinator here. Took over in the '85 season when it was underway. Under him, the Oilers finished 5-11 last year. See his overall record, 11-18 so far through 2 full seasons as an NFL head coach. And there was the speculation that maybe they're looking, things go bad at Jackie Sherrill.
We have
Texas
offsides
A&M.
on the kicking team, number 34. We have unsportsmanlike on the kicking team, number 36. We have unsportsmanlike, number 34 on the kicking team. We have unsportsmanlike, number 22 on the receiving. The penalties are offset. Number 34 of the white and number 22 of the blue are ejected.
Just kicked out Elvis Patterson. And also out of the game is Kenny Johnson, one of the defensive backs for the Oilers.
This is starting to sound like a hockey game.
Yep. So Elvis Patterson gets a game misconduct. Starting cornerback for San Diego. And Kenny Johnson is out.
Somebody
1 second left, first half.
Somebody should have a power play.
After the play, they all started swinging. Apparently, ruled that Patterson was one of the perpetrators, along with Johnson of the Oilers, so they're both gone for this day.
Both of those things hurt, and hurt severely.
Dick Hantak, the referee, perhaps not covering himself with glory in running this game smoothly.
I was going to mention that Kenny Johnson is the nickelback for Houston, and now it's going to have to be Domingo Bryant, so they don't have a 6th defensive back to play. And for Elvis Patterson, that defensive backfield of San Diego not the healthiest to begin with.
And if not the best referee, Hantak is surely the slowest.
Wants to get it right. Wants to get it right. That is not a polka they're doing there, folks.
We had an unsportsmanlike on number 34 of the white throwing his helmet to the ground. He will be assessed a 15-yard penalty. We will kick 15 yards further back.
They might send him to bed without his dinner for throwing his helmet to the ground. That's about as serious as it gets, isn't it?
Also not very smart.
That one is a fight going on.
Make sure that thing is buckled.
It's as bad as I've heard of throwing his helmet to the ground.
And there's Kenny Johnson. He's also been ejected. So they back the kickoff up 15 yards. Yawn.
Still 1 second to go, and still the Oilers lead the game 20-5. Line drive kickoff that the Oilers will run back. Alan Pinkett turns to the sideline, goes out of bounds, and the first half really does end. The Houston Oilers, with an aggressive attacking defense, got the jump on Fouts and the Chargers early with that blitz and return of the fumble for a touchdown. And they go to the locker room holding a commanding 20-5 lead. NFL Lizer, the king of beers. Ball hit downfield. Chargers will get it to open the third quarter. Running it back is Jamie Holland. He takes it across the 25 and out to the 26-yard line. And there the Dan Fouts' offense comes back out. Fouts trotting out, looking to get it going if he can, down 20-5.
And Don, it pretty much comes down to this drive. First drive of the second half when San Diego has been totally ineffective on offense, picking up a grand total of 170 yards in the first half. If they don't get something done in this first drive, we're going to see an awful long and awful boring second half.
To give you an indication of how long this first half was, the Seattle-Pittsburgh game is now in the fourth quarter. Seattle leading 9-6. Chargers try the run, and there's not much there for Curtis Adams, who is knocked down. Ray Childress got him, number 79. Forsett, defensive end, number 2 player picked in the entire draft when he came out. The Steelers have just gone in front of Seattle, 13-9, and an 11-yard touchdown run by Frank Pollard on the opening play of the fourth quarter. Trying to figure the Seattle club takes some doing also. Dan Fouts, one setback, 3 tight ends, couple of wide receivers looking to throw on 2nd and 10. Downfield it goes, and down with the ball is Chandler with a spectacular catch, but out of bounds when he brought it down.
Chargers have insisted upon trying to get those passes completed at the sideline over Patrick Allen, when my choice would be Audrey McMillan. He is replacing Steve Brown and continue to try to throw against the best defensive back that I think the Houston Oilers have.
Well, you're not going to get the ball deep on him very often. Patrick Allen has given up only 1 touchdown pass in the last 23 games. We have stoppage in play, a timeout by the Oilers.
Their first.
Interesting time to take a timeout.
Well, with the lead, it's usually not as expensive, but a lot of times it comes back to haunt you, taking one to check your defense early in the second half. San Diego on 3rd and 7 gets the ball downfield, very nearly intercepted. Fouts against a big rush. Now 1 of 8 trying to convert 3rd downs in this game. 3rd and 10 play almost turns into an Oiler possession.
Ball was intended for Gary Anderson, the man in coverage, Audrey McMillan. That time Fouts pressured enough that he really couldn't set up and throw it. You see the double blitz again. Meads and also Robert Lyles up the middle. Fouts just couldn't follow through. Anderson does a good job to avoid the interception.
Long punt downfield by Mosienko. Willie Drury goes back to his 15-yard line and starts back at the Chargers. Takes it to the 20, and there Houston goes on offense, 1st and 10. 13:51 to play in the third quarter.
San Diego, this game is over for San Diego. That last drive.
You don't mind if they play the final 2 quarters?
No, I don't mind at all. But that last drive was it. Their one chance to get back in this ball game, unless Houston lets them back in the ball game with dumb mistakes. Chargers are not here today. That was a 60-yard punt.
Number 88, ineligible player from the kicking team, was downfield early. 5 yards, re-kick, 4th down.
You can see Al Saunders trying to encourage his guys as best they possibly can, but not here. They didn't bring it today. There's the evidence. Now you add 3 plays and a punt to the first drive of the second half. This is total futility on the part of the San Diego Chargers. Houston hasn't been much better.
So Mosienko will punt it again after the Chargers are called for an ineligible man downfield, negating a beautiful punt by Mosienko. High hit downfield, but Drury takes it as 34. Very quick, he's to the 38-yard line. Randy Kirk was down to make the tackle, and so after that 43-yard punt, the Oilers go on offense, 1st down and 10. You see how their production has been on offense.
It's not been good, but it's been good enough to put 20 points on the scoreboard and be in total command of this football game.
This game turned quickly. If you were with us in the outset, you'll remember that Warren Moon's first pass, a hard-thrown ball over the middle, was picked up by Vincey Glenn of the Chargers. And then almost immediately, Dan Fouts was sacked, lost the ball, and the Oilers returned it for a touchdown. 55 yards. Robert Lyles ran it back. Handoff to Rozier, and there's nothing there. San Diego shuts it down. Keith Baldwin, longtime Cleveland Brown playing in the defensive line of the Chargers, made the stop.
I have a feeling for Houston now this second half, we're going to see a lot of that. Up 20-5. They're going to run the ball as much as they possibly can in this second half to take time off the clock.
Loss of 2 yards on the play, and so it is now second down and 12. Billy Ray Smith and Chip Banks, the outside backers, come up tight. Here comes Banks on a blitz, a throw, and is it a catch? Going to be close. They rule incomplete.
No catch.
Ernest Givens had his hands on it, but they rule it touched the turf.
See if we can pick up what happens here. Yeah, I think that's an excellent call by the officials. The ball did appear to bounce on the ground. Incomplete pass. Third down and 12, and Houston has not been very good in third down conversions either today. 0 for 5.
Now it is third down and 12 for the Oilers as Warren Moon sets in the shotgun with 12:55 to go in the third quarter. Open man is Drew Hill in the middle of the San Diego zone. He has a first down for Houston to the 40-yard line of the Chargers. A throw and catch worth 24 yards to the Houston offense.
Just over the outstretched hands of, I believe, Martin Bayless. No, it's 56, Chip Banks. I mean, just grazes his fingernails. And that play, probably more than any play we've seen today, pretty much epitomizes the problems the San Diego Chargers have had. An inch short, an inch late, an inch slow, and the Chargers are trailing 20-5.
Warren Moon has been a standout despite his sore shoulder, his very sore shoulder, that kept him out of practice all week and almost kept him out of this game. Now to the run they go on first down carry. Ray Wallace takes it, but a marker's down at the line of scrimmage. 12:02 to play, third quarter.
There has to be a marker at the line of scrimmage, or it wouldn't be a part of this game. Illegal procedure, Houston.
False start. Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Bruce Davis, recently acquired from the Los Angeles Raiders. Now the Houston Oilers' 7th penalty on the day, and you can see the Charger bench. No enthusiasm whatsoever.
Chargers badly need a big play. Need a turnover. They had one early in the game. Intercepted Moon. Delayed blitz. Billy Ray was coming. Billy Ray Smith, he didn't get there, and now the throw comes out in the flat, and Mike Rozier takes the ball to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 15. No gain. Bayless, the strong safety, came up to cover the area that Billy Ray Smith blitzed from on the left side. Second down and 15 for the Houston Oilers, who lead the game as they did at the half, 20-5. Scored 10 in the first quarter and 10 more in the second.
Houston with 4 wide receivers.
Three trips set to the left. 3 wide out to the left side. Here's a blitz. They pick it up. Moon gets it away. He throws a connection to Givens. Penalty marker in from the back judge. Givens on the run is knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Gilbert in coverage. Warren Moon really got absolutely hammered. Chuck Ian right in his face. It's against San Diego. The catch is going to stand. That's illegal contact by Gilbert down the field. Watch the pressure on Warren Moon.
Holding. Defense, number 25. Penalty is declined. First down.
14th penalty of this game.
He said 25 Vincey Glenn. I believe it's Gilbert 22. That's the 100th catch of Ernest Givens' career, too. Which
which is all the more impressive when you consider it's just his second year in the league. Got 61 for over 1,000 yards as a rookie out of Louisville. He was a second-round draft choice. High back, deep back gets the ball. That's Mike Rozier, and on a first down carry, he hits down close to the 18-yard line. Little or no gain. Charger defensive front stiffening against the run. Houston content to move the clock as much as possible between plays. It's down to 10:30 and running in the third quarter.
You know, I think if I were Jerry Glanville, I'd find out exactly what I've got in Alonzo Highsmith for the rest of this game. It's pretty much in hand. He's in the backfield with Mike Rozier, and I'd start giving Alonzo Highsmith that ball as much as I could.
Second down, almost 10. Blitz picked up. Givens with a spectacular play. Is he in? No, he's out of bounds inside the 1-yard line.
Well,
He
I'll tell you.
signaled touchdown, but the official did not. Says he stepped out just before the goal line.
I'll tell you what, that cone is inbounds and in the end zone.
Exceptional play by Ernest Givens.
Highsmith does a great job on chip banks. That's the kind of block you want. That's going to give the quarterback a lot of time. Now let's watch this. The orange cone is inbounds and in the end zone. The man in coverage is Danny Walters. Yeah, he's out of bounds. Good call by the official. First and goal, Houston.
Rozier, he's over the top, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, Oilers. And they open up a 26-5 lead. As they're standing and cheering in Houston, something they've not done in a couple of weeks.
There's not a lot of them here. When Houston played Cleveland, as you watch there's not much there at all. He's barely touched to score that touchdown. Barely touched. This has got to be extremely disappointing to Al Saunders, who was very encouraged last night. Well, his team had played very well today, didn't he?
They had a good week of practice, but they've not had a good game. The Oilers have, and they've opened up a 27-5 lead. The Houston Oilers being led by that portly gentleman and cheers during the timeout. And they've had something to cheer about today as they've opened up a 27-5 lead over the San Diego Chargers. Houston kicking off again after the first score of the second half. Jamie Holland sprinting straight back, and he gets across the 25 and out to the 26-yard line. So Dan Fouts and the Charger offense tries again from their 26. Mojo took a spill. Here comes Mojo. There's the roll. He's still got one left.
Mojo looks like a sea turtle there when he gets on his back, you know. Needs a little help to get him over on his flippers.
He's just off the critical list at Slenderella.
Yes, sir. Weight Watchers poster boy.
Dan Fouts won't get anything going on that play as Johnny Means, the linebacker, came in and got him. A sack back inside the 20-yard line.
That's the second sack of the day. The first one resulted in a touchdown. Look at it. This is a linebacker beating an offensive lineman, Jim Lachey, the Chargers' best offensive lineman. And that pretty much shows you that these guys aren't here today. Lachey, an outstanding player. I'm not sure Mark Herman even wants to go. I don't think he'd volunteer. I think he wants at this point.
Lachey and Kowalski the tackles. Fitzpatrick and McKnight the guards. Masick the center. All over the middle, and the ball is separated from the receiver, Kellen Winslow, at the 27-yard line.
And Fouts is down again. Johnny Means again beat Jim Lachey. Now watch the right-hand side of your picture. Means with pure foot speed goes outside. And it's also Robert Lyles. They have...
And you're right, Lachey's an outstanding offensive tackle, beaten on that play, though. 9:21 to go in the third quarter. The San Diego Chargers are trailing the Houston Oilers 27-5. Chargers having trouble on third down. They've converted only one of 8 previous third down tries. 2 wide receivers set to the right. Fouts throws a quick in to Chandler. He knew right where he wanted to go as there was a blitz coming from that side. But it looked like there was a jump before the snap.
Yeah, Jesse Baker.
Encroachment, defense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Jesse Baker was in the neutral zone.
Bernie Kosar has thrown to Brian Brennan for a touchdown. The favored Browns are now back to within 2 of Indianapolis, playing at Cleveland Stadium today. Big development at Pittsburgh, where the Steelers have scored in the fourth quarter to lead Seattle 13-9. It's quite possible to be a three-way tie for first in the AFC Central. The Oilers, the Browns, and the Steelers. If the Oilers and the Steelers win and the Browns lose to Indianapolis. Third down and 13 for Fouts and the Chargers. Again, the Oilers threaten blitz and come with it. Quick in goes to Chandler, and he's to the 30-yard line. This is a well-conceived defense, Trump. They were naked back there, but they knew where the play was going to go, and they made the hit.
Yeah, but the strange thing is, Patrick Allen is their best coverage man. Watch who makes the tackle on Wes Chandler. The other guy, 26, Audrey McMillan, is making his first start. Now, obviously, Patrick Allen is matching up with Wes Chandler, but you got other receivers over there. Get it out to Gary Anderson. Turn him loose. He's been no factor in this game.
Only bright light so far has been the punting of Moshenko, but a penalty marker comes down as Willie Drury returns his kick. Drury on the run, working hard, is finally thrown down at the 20-yard line. With 8:35 to go in the third quarter, Oilers ready to go on offense again, in command of this game, 27-5. They led at halftime, 20-5.
I don't see the flag.
They threw one in. Maybe they picked it up. There was one thrown in right after the kick.
Yeah, there it is. Where is that little devil? Oh, I see. That looked like running into the punter. Well, it's not out there in the field now. Somebody must have picked it up.
Well, we're going to have a delay to sort it out. We've had one of those.
Why not have another? That's an ineligible man downfield. Face mask both on the punting team. On the tackle. Looked like they just got a hold of that face mask. Danny Walters. Am I correct? No, I take that back. Daniel Hunter, number 27. Make him punt it again.
So the clock is stopped with 8:35 to play as referee Dick Hantak gets some counsel from another official. Now, after due deliberation, we have a result. No, we don't.
Here's the numbers second half for the Chargers. 1 of 4 passes completed for 6 yards, minus 1 yard rushing in 2 second half possessions.
Jerry Glanville wants to get on with this thing. This is a victory, ending a 2-game losing streak. Albeit with a lot of time remaining.
There is a correction. There was no face mask on the play. The player was on the shoulder pad. We still had ineligible on the kicking team downfield. The penalty was declined. It will be a first down and 10 yards, Houston.
Okay. And now let's take a timeout.
Well, after all that is duly deliberated, there's a break in the action with the Oilers in command.
And make them down to that game against Denver in the last game of the season. But they have really put themselves in a tough spot after today.
Rozier trying hard. Oiler defense, Oiler offense. Trying to go right at the San Diego Chargers. And big Mike Charles, a nose tackle, who was cut by Miami and Tampa Bay, makes a head-on stop.
What? No stoppage of the clock? What's going on here?
In a moment.
No, it's continuing to run. Late news will follow. I'm joking. I'm not serious. Ah, yes, it is running.
Second down and 9 for the Houston Oilers, who lead the game 27-5. Moon and out pattern. The ball is dropped. Alonzo Highsmith coming out of the backfield. Get an idea what kind of personnel they have at Miami of Florida. Of the top three players picked in the last draft, 2 were from Miami. Testaverde number 1 and Highsmith number 3. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the NFL, of the San Diego Chargers, and the Houston Oilers. All rights are reserved.
I don't think any one of the 3 would claim it.
Right now, Warren Moon drops and fires up the middle, but he's got a little bit less than he needed to hit Haywood Jeffries running a slant at him. So for one of the rare occasions, it's 3 downs and out for the Houston offense, and San Diego will get it back. Lionel James drops back to take the punt.
This has been one bright spot for Houston. Lee Johnson was cut. Jeff Gossett picked up. 47.5-yard average is a big help to your football team. Now see, here's a perfect example. Trailing 27-5, 7:47 to go in the third quarter. Why aren't you rushing the punt? On every occasion, if you're San Diego, you've got to try to come up with some cheap points somehow to at least ignite some fire underneath your football team. And they're going for the return with Lionel James.
Gossett hits it downfield. Lionel James in his 42. Look at him find a wedge, find a lane, and Lionel James is down to the 40-yard line of San Diego, the leading punt returner in the American Conference, with a very fine return. And now the Chargers send out their offense, but before they're set to go, there's a break in the action with 7:34 to play in the third quarter. Here and still exuberant. Haven't checked the scoreboard lately because the Oilers are in command 27-5. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 7:34 to play in the third quarter as Dan Fouts drops. Fires to an open Lionel James, and he could be hidden in. Lionel James pops it up, and it's recovered at the goal line.
Unbelievable.
Well, the Chargers almost had the big play they've needed so badly. Instead, it's a big play for the Houston defense as Bostic came up with the ball.
Unbelievable. Biggest play San Diego has all day. Lionel James is the man who made the catch. And it looked like Johnny Meads, 91, will eventually show up in your picture again. And when he breaks back, gets off to the races. Let's see if it's 91. Johnny Meads knocks it away. And Jeff Bostic recovers it. Houston ball. This is a bad joke on San Diego.
Their biggest play, and it goes the other way. Now the Oilers will start out 99 yards from the goal line of the Chargers, and they get a good run out across the 5-yard line.
From the end zone, watch what happens again is you see Meads just stripping the ball away. And Bostic, who leads the AFC in interceptions with 6, tied for the lead in the NFL with Barry Wilburn of Washington, the man on the spot.
Second down and 6 for the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon under the leg, quickly gives the ball to Rozier. Turning the corner, Rozier fights for yardage, and a penalty marker comes in from the referee. Antek fired that one in from behind the quarterback.
Holding Houston.
Still in the fourth quarter, Indianapolis holding to a 9-7 lead over the Browns, who were favored by over a touchdown going in. Green Bay coming back in the cold against Montana, and the 49ers now trailing by 4 in the fourth quarter. The Giants in a game that's meaningless to them from a playoff standpoint because they're gone, beating the Eagles. Steelers up on Seattle. People talked about Seattle as a Super Bowl team. Now Seattle has to be wondering, are we going to go to the playoffs? They'll go to 7-5 if they lose today at Pittsburgh. Cincinnati had a 17-3 lead. They always find a way to lose, and now they're up by just 3 over Kansas City. That game in the fourth quarter at Three Rivers Stadium. If not Three Rivers, would you believe Riverfront?
Riverfront.
But at any rate, the ball here for Houston is at the Oilers' 6-yard line. Moon aligning in the shotgun. The up back is Rozier. Sometimes they snap it right to him, and he runs it. From the end zone, over the middle, a little too much out. It's incomplete at about the 14-yard line.
Gibbons was the intended receiver. Moon could see the pressure coming at him. Gilbert, the man in coverage, threw the ball low. The fact that he's out there playing at all is worth mention. Now at 27-5, not really that concerned about making completions at this point in the game, just making sure you don't give up the big turnover.
Little Train James is standing at the 50-yard line for San Diego. Gossett ready to punt it. 6:14 to play in the third quarter. 27-5. The Houston Oilers on their home field lead the game. Short punt. James will bring it back, fielding it on the run. Inside the 40, inside the 35, and he's down to the 33-yard line. Walter Johnson was down to make the play for the Houston Oilers, covering on the kick team. 37-yard punt. So Dan Fouts and the Charger offense, which much of the day has been trying to hit passes to the flank with no success, they seem to get their best gains over the middle. See if they go back there. Wes Chandler is wide to the left. Receivers on the right side. Fouts letting it go deep. Man is there, screening him away, and there's a penalty marker. It'll be 1st and goal for San Diego. It is ruled the defensive back screened the receiver, Jamie Holland, away from the ball.
Audrey McMillan, the man in coverage. San Diego should have been testing this young man at the beginning of the ball game. That's a good call. Audrey McMillan was not looking back at the football. He's late turning around looking at the football, and the officials are going to call that every single time. If both are trying for the football, they'll let that contact go.
McMillan played right here in Houston for the University of Houston Cougars as he was a collegiate quarterback.
Now 9 penalties on Houston.
Hour set for the Chargers. All the tight ends are in, running with the ball, and there's a marker down as Curtis Adams hits down to the goal line. But a legal motion is signaled against San Diego, so they'll be set back to their 6-yard line.
San Diego's had 5 or 6 illegal motion penalties today. They are a team that uses a great deal of motion.
Illegal motion, offense number 43, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 1st down.
That was on Tim Spencer, the running back. That's 7 penalties now on San Diego. So they bring out that set of offensive players and bring in their passing set.
First and goal from the 7-yard line for the San Diego Chargers. Fouts takes a look. He's going to Barry Redden, who can't hold on at the goal line. Out of the backfield comes the X-Ram, Barry Redden. It's off his hands. Very close to the first touchdown of the game for the Chargers, but not quite. It'll be 2nd and goal for Fouts in San Diego.
They got what they wanted. John Grimsley, the linebacker, in coverage on Barry Redden. Bounced right through his hands. You see Redden, number 20, right there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. This ball should be caught.
receivers. Now they bring people over. Holohan comes over, aligning as a wing back to the left. Wayne James goes in motion. Second and goal from the 7. Fouts, timing pattern. Holohan can't come down with it, but no, it's ruled incomplete. Holohan was running a pattern, so is Lionel James. James had his hands on the ball, but it is ruled incomplete. Lost it coming down.
That time 91, Johnny Means once again right in the face of Dan Fouts. For some strange reason, San Diego's not been able to pick up that blitz at all. You see James almost makes the catch.
And again, Trump, the ugliest of all situations arises for the Chargers. Third down.
It has not been kind to them today. One of 9 for San Diego to this point, Don.
1 of 9. Here's a throw and a catch, and down to the goal line goes Kellen Winslow, and he's in for a touchdown. So the Chargers finally get in on their 10th third down conversion of the day. They get the touchdown throw. Coach Al Saunders walks the sideline, shaking a fist at his players, exhorting them we're not out of it yet, and they surely are not with 5:20 to play in the third quarter.
But you see, San Diego has not yet figured out this blitz package that Houston has, because again, there were people right in Dan Fouts' face.
Extra point is up. And no good. It's been that kind of a day. So a very unlikely score on the board, 27-11. Chargers would need 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, and a field goal to win this.
27-11. Now watch again on this touchdown pass to Kellen Winslow. The pressure has been on Dan Fouts all day. San Diego's not figured out a way to pick everybody up. 27 this time is right in his face. Tony Newsome. There's been somebody free on Dan Fouts on almost every pass that he's thrown.
Upset in Trump from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers, coming from behind in the fourth quarter, have defeated the Seattle Seahawks 13-9. So the Steelers go to 7-5 and could have a share of first place in the AFC Central at the end of the day. They will next be going to San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium next Sunday to play these Chargers. Seattle goes to 7-5 with a second consecutive loss.
And of course, that certainly helps San Diego's chances with a loss by Seattle. 3 plays, 34 yards, 6-yard touchdown pass from Fouts to Winslow.
Kickoff hit hard downfield. Running it back is Alan Pinkett. Pinkett gets to the 20-yard line, and that's where Houston will go on offense, 1st and 10. Most of these games coming close to conclusion now. Indianapolis still holding to that 2-point lead over the Browns at Cleveland. Next panel. Pittsburgh, a victor over Seattle. Washington in command of the Cardinals. It was close early in Atlanta, en route to perhaps a 3rd win over the Dallas Cowboys. 5:10 to go in the 3rd quarter here at the Houston Astrodome. Oilers set to go. Wide right, Drew Hill. Wide left, Ernest Givens.
Pass, pick it off.
Warren Moon in trouble. Lee Williams tries to run him down. He dumps it off, gets it to Drew Hill, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. There was a gain of 9 yards on that 1st and 10 play. Chip Hanks blasted him out of bounds, but Warren Moon, running and alertly scanning the field for the open man, finds one as Drew Hill saw him in trouble and came back.
And a reminder, too, that Warren Moon not practiced all week long. Took an injection in his throwing shoulder on Thursday. And it was not determined until just before game time that he was going to play at all. He's played the entire game.
And less than a yard for the Houston Oilers from their 29. High back. Rozier hit in the backfield. Nice play by Keith Baldwin, who shot the gap from the right defensive end. Gain will be very close to a 1st down. Let's see if the spot gives it to him. Now they're ruling just short. 3rd and inches. One final in already on this 12th Sunday of play. The Steelers go to 7-5 with a victory today over favored Seattle, 13-9. Oilers having trouble on 3rd down also.
1 of 8.
Moon, bad shoulder and all, puts his head down, and behind his center, Jay Pennison. He takes it ahead for an Oiler first down out to the 32-yard line.
So that keeps the drive alive, and San Diego's nightmare continues. Now, Don, one of the things that is amazing about losing in the NFL, when you lose 2 games in a row, you forget how to win. And now when you've got the 3rd game in a row, now all of a sudden the coaches, no matter what they tell you, you really don't buy as a player. San Diego's now in that frame of mind.
Confidence unquestionably shaken. They're beaten and badly for a 3rd straight week. To the run they go. Joe Phillips makes the stop on rookie Alonzo Highsmith. He was born in Canada. His dad was a top player in the Canadian Football League. Parents American citizens. Grew up in Miami, Florida. Went to Columbus High School, where he starred in a team that just missed winning the state championship with Don Shula's son. Mike Shula was the quarterback. On to an All-American career in Miami of Florida. Alonzo Highsmith. Now it's 2nd down and 2 for the Oilers. Moon to Rozier. He's going to turn the corner and get the first down as he's out to the 45-yard line of Houston. Knocked down on the play by Charger linebacker Gary Plummer.
I'm kind of surprised how much they're using Mike Rozier.
Yeah.
He hurt his shoulder in the first quarter, then sprained an ankle a little bit. He's not having a very good rushing day, but still, you need him for the final 3 games of the season. You know, the way the numbers are coming in today from other football games, the Oilers, even though they've lost 2 straight, they're right in the thick of things, as they say, in the AFC Central.
They're anxiously awaiting that Indianapolis-Cleveland score. Browns, the division leader in the Central, losing at the moment as Highsmith fights for yards on first down. Gets across the 45-yard line and out to about the 47. Joe Phillips and Gary Plummer knocked him down. A disappointing day for the Chargers, but this is a very good organization under its new owner, Alex Spanos. A lot of things are in place. When that strike came, they were ready for the strike season. Went 3-0 and got the jump on everybody else. They were getting players where a lot of people were wondering what's going to happen. Is there really going to be a strike? Won 3 games on the road, did the Chargers strike team, all coming from behind in the 4th quarter. Slam bang football right at the Charger defense. Goes running back Mike Rozier of Houston on a 2nd and 7 play. He got only a yard to bring up 3rd down and 6.
Now what Al Saunders has to do is he has to somehow convince his football team that they're not as bad as they played today. That's going to be a tough sell, I understand that, but they still have that final game of the season against Denver, and that's at Denver. They have Pittsburgh at home, they have Indianapolis at home, and then they go to Denver. And with an 8-4 record, that's still very respectable, and they still got a shot at the playoffs because the AFC East is beating each other up.
On the run goes Moon. A penalty marker goes down as he guns the ball downfield, but incomplete to Ernest Gibbons, who is at the 35-yard line. So Warren Moon, bad shoulder and all, running to the tough side, the left side for a right-arm thrower, guns it downfield, 35 yards on a line.
It's going to be holding on Houston.
Offense, number 63, penalty is declined, 4th down.
They got Mike Munchak on the hold when Warren Moon rolled out. All of a sudden, the defensive lineman was loose on him, and knowing the physical condition of Warren Moon, Munchak tackled him. Not a bad choice.
Charger offense started to move the ball. The last 2 times it's had possession, scoring the last time. We still have the whole 4th quarter to play and more. 43 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Gossett ready to punt the ball for the Oilers. Lionel James, number 26, standing there waiting for it for San Diego. knuckleball. James will run it back from his 14. Stutter step, quick move upfield, and Lionel James turns the corner. Blocking's clean, no penalty markers, and the leading punt returner in the American Conference breaks another one on the return. An 18-yard return of a 36-yard punt. Outs in the Charger offense, coming out again with 30 seconds to play in quarter number 3.
Dan Fouts back at quarterback. He has taken a real beating today. And I think it changed Dan Fouts' mind about this football game after that first sack resulted in a touchdown. He's a very courageous player, but when you lose confidence in your offensive line to protect you, especially early, it affects you the rest of the game.
Fouts is 16 of 32 for 187 yards. Remember, his last throw was to Winslow for the touchdown. Throw and a catch. Right flank. Wes Chandler going for the ball, and he comes down with it. Very close to a first down. A 9-yard gain on the play.
Now, if they'd have done that in the first quarter, matching Wes Chandler on Audrey McMillan, the scoreboard would read a lot different in my estimation. McMillan is the one that has no experience. Another sack.
The ball back at the 31-yard line. Houston football.
Johnny Meads again. He was the guy who was there.
So the third quarter ends with the Oilers forcing a turnover and leading 27-11. Now the Houston Oilers will be right back after these messages from your local station.
This week on It Started, number 91, Johnny Meads, a sack of Dan Fouts. The resulting turnover was a touchdown. It's now the fourth quarter, and San Diego still hasn't picked up that blitz. John Grimsley ends up being the recoverer. Houston ball once again.
So the Chargers with the recovery have the ball now. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line of San Diego. Moon fakes to Rozier, looks deep, throws a hard fastball. It's taken down by Gibbons at the 13-yard line. It's a first down for the Oilers.
Well, it looked like he popped his knee. It looked like when he tried to stop and turn and change directions, his foot caught in the turf, and his body kind of went out over his knee.
He limped off a little earlier and came right back.
Watch what happens here. Ankle. When he places his, see there? Kind of gets outside of his knee there a little bit. That's what happens on this AstroTurf. One foot sticks, the other one doesn't. Watch his left leg. All of a sudden, all his weight is right on that knee joint. He walks off, though. Hopefully he's all right.
For an 18-yard gain for the Houston Oilers, and now they have the ball at the 13-yard line of San Diego. Moon, as they pick up the blitz. Rozier picked up Billy Ray Smith, knocked him right in the pads and kept him off the quarterback. Lee Williams, though, got the heat on.
Almost intercepted that ball, went right into his hands. There's Ernest Gibbons being examined on the sideline by the team physicians.
Ernest Gibbons was a top high school baseball player in Tampa, Florida. His dad was in the Cleveland Indian organization as a player for some years. But after one game, he had to make a choice in college. He was going to play baseball or football. He was struck out twice on 6 pitches against a kid named Dwight Gooden. So he decided on football.
Good choice.
A few guys have struck out twice on 6 pitches against Dwight Gooden. Highsmith turns the corner. Alonzo Highsmith running hard is down close to the 5-yard line on a 2nd and 10 play. He got about 8. Thomas Benson saved the touchdown, knocking him out of bounds. Highsmith getting his biggest production to date, 8 carries, 32 yards.
I like this idea, too. I wish he'd changed that ball to his other hand so when someone tackles him, he doesn't lose control of it. But Houston's been anxiously awaiting Alonzo Highsmith. Exactly what he can do and what he can't do. The more carries you give him in the latter stages of this football game, the more comfortable he's going to be next week and the following week.
3rd down and 4 for the first down. 3rd down and 6 for the Oilers touchdown. They lead the game 27-11. Pitch back. Mike Rozier runs it down close to the 3-yard line.
Oilers now 2 of 11 in third down conversions. They didn't make that one. Well, you go for the field goal. There's no...
Absolutely you do. That means your opposition has to score 3 touchdowns to beat you.
And I don't know what these people are cheering for here. Well, I don't believe this, but it looks like they're going to go for it. There's a Houston Oiler down. It's Rozier again.
He's had a tough day, Mike Rozier. He's played a fine game, running and blocking. Now it's his right knee that apparently is ailing him.
There's not enough tape for this kid for all the injuries he's got.
So Mike Rozier is attended to. There's a break here at Houston. Back at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Oilers have 4th down coming up. They're in command of the game out of Houston Oilers 27-11 in the 4th quarter.
I don't believe this, but it appears that they're going to go for it. Warren Moon is still in there. Zendejas has not taken the field.
Well, they feel perhaps they have the game in hand and they want to win big after being beaten big the last 2 games by Cleveland and Indianapolis. Moon rolling out. Warren Moon's going to run it in for the touchdown. Terrific play. He had an option to his tight end, Jamie Williams. The defender didn't know which way to go, and Moon saw he had the angle, and he took it in for the score.
Great fake up the middle, too, by Highsmith. He dove over the pile and fooled everybody. (33-11) the score.
So there's a whole new ball game in the AFC Central. At day's end, there will be a 3-way tie for first place. Extra point is good.
Houston, 5 plays, 30 yards. Moon, the 3-yard run. This has been the big problem for San Diego. Houston's run 26 plays in the second half. San Diego's about to snap the ball for their 13th.
See if Herman can get anything going. The big 6'5" passer from Purdue takes a look. Out pattern. He's got a man. Lionel James takes it and is knocked out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. Mark Herman just was a bit long on a pass attempt downfield, and that will bring up 3rd down and 7. This is what happened a moment ago.
Chargers going with their hurry-up offense, and they're going to have to keep employing that for the final 12 minutes and 40 seconds. But this game was over long ago. Now 3rd down, and San Diego is 2 for 10 in 3rd down conversions today.
33-11. Houston leads. Here's an over-the-middle pass to Chandler. He turns upfield. He's not going to get there. Chandler, seeing nothing to his right, cuts to the left, and then he's knocked down, cutting back yet again. He is going to be short, and Chargers have to go for it, keeping their offense out with 12:25 to play, and they're down 33-11.
Now, they have no choice. Ken Fouts on the sideline. Not a good day, but he was hammered today. Hammered severely. The Houston Oilers only got 3 sacks, but 2 of them resulted in fumbles. 1 of those fumbles returned for a touchdown.
Pull it down. Oilers look like they're going to give him the first down, leaving early.
Somebody from right in the middle.
Like linebacker Al Smith was one guy that busted through.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty.
They drew them offside.
Fitzpatrick, the
huge offensive guard.
So now they have to punt the ball.
The #1 draft choice last year out of Southern California, James Fitzpatrick.
Once you put that hand down on the ground, you can't move if you're an offensive lineman.
8 penalties against the Chargers today for 75 yards. So now they send Mosienko out to punt the ball. A real stand-up punter. Born in West Germany, Mosienko left foots the ball and rockets it downfield. Backpedaling and fair catching the ball. Willie Drury all the way back at his 16-yard line as the Oiler offense comes out, presumably to run the ball, although as you've mentioned during the timeout, Trump, one of the tiebreakers is how many points to score. They might try to keep running it up.
You may be right.
quarterback, and you certainly have to salute the play of Warren Moon. He was advised that he could have a career-ending injury if he re-injured his shoulder anymore today. The game was a must-win for his team. He went out there and played admirably. Brent Peace is now in.
He was the replacement quarterback that played so very well for the Houston Oilers.
A good player, looking for Montana. 6'1", 200. First down, they go to the run. Up the middle go the Oilers. Taking out a first down play is Mike Rozier. Good to see Mike back in the game after being... No, that's Alan Pinkett who's in the game. Rozier went out with an injury. He's been in and out. And now Pinkett will probably spell him the rest of the way with 11 minutes and 33 seconds to play in the game.
Stay in bounds. Don't get anywhere close to the sideline. Try to gain as much ground as you can and then protect the football.
Finals. 49ers, as you see, beat Green Bay. Steelers upset Seattle today at Three Rivers Stadium, throwing this division into a three-way tie. Atlanta beat the Cowboys. Alan Pinkett running up the middle of the field, gets across the 35-yard line after the 36. First down for the Oilers.
This has been a total failure on the part of the San Diego Chargers.
Some of the late starting games, including the doubleheader game that many of you will be seeing, the Patriots and the Broncos at Denver. Others will be seeing those Bills and the Raiders who do battle at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. New Orleans, a hot club, looking for its 9th win of the year today.
They may be at halftime before we finish this one.
We still have over 10 minutes to play. Oilers with the game in hand, leading 33-11. Pinkett. Penalty marker comes in from the umpire, which usually signifies an offensive holding.
You're right. Offensive holding.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
This has been not your prettiest game if you're going to make a time capsule. You want to put a football game in it. I don't think you want to put this one in it. That is now the 19th penalty called on both teams today. And another player injured. Trainer's out attending to Vince Glenn, the defensive back from the San Diego Chargers.
Banged up badly. That was a record he had a week ago. John Elway got burned early.
Vince Glenn intercepted Warren Moon's first pass today.
That's right.
So if you're Al Saunders next week, you say, look, if it comes to you, let it drop. That's Mike Rozier on the sideline there.
Ice on the ankle, ice on the shoulder. That Warriors' day is over, but he performed well again for the Houston Oilers. Here's another penalty marker, Dan. These guys won't quit.
That's 20 penalties.
Illegal motion is called on Houston. That stops the clock with 10 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the game. Chargers go back trying to regroup. They'll play the Steelers next Sunday at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. The Steelers upsetting Seattle today. So Seattle drops 2 in a row, and Pittsburgh, with the victory today, gets a share of first in the AFC Central.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 20. Penalty is declined. It will be second down.
Randall too tough to handle Cunningham. The run-and throwing quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles is having a big fourth quarter. Eagles were down to the Giants 20-6, and now Cunningham with 2 long touchdown pass plays of 36 and 40 yards has brought the Eagles back into a tie, 20-all with 48 seconds to play.
19 penalties on the day. I was incorrect. There are 20 penalties, but they didn't accept that one.
Second down and 20. East hands off. Highsmith runs. Not much there. Chargers coming knocking. Play is whistled dead. There's no penalty on the play.
What? Are you sure?
Well, pretty sure.
This game has all the appearances of a replacement game. You know that? I hate to say that because we saw some good ones, but we also saw some bad ones.
As far as the Oilers are concerned, this is a good one. Every W is. Peace from the shotgun. Stands in. They give him time. Here's a penalty marker as he throws a completion to another first-year player, Haywood Jeffries. It'll be good for a first down if it goes. Gain of 22 yards on the play.
Chances are it won't go. Illegal procedure, Houston. We call it back. Penalty has to be accepted because the first down was made.
Now, you've proposed a rule you'd like to see.
A gimme.
A gimme. Explain that.
Illegal procedure. Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
A gimme's like a gimme in golf. You know, this one's in the leather.
Yeah.
So we'll give you the rest of this one. You know, whoever wants to go out there, have the captains meet at midfield and just say, look, it's a gimme. We'll see you next year. Go on from there. You don't want to get somebody maimed, injured. I mean, you may interrupt someone from a nap here in the Astrodome. That's the price you might have to pay, but
that's the problem with booing. Makes the team being booed feel bad. It wakes up those who dozed off. Here's a throw and a drop. Ernest Givens looking to run before he had the ball, and so the Chargers will get it back on a Houston punt with 8:20 to go in the game. New Orleans has opened up a 14-0 lead on Tampa Bay. New Orleans could be in San Diego in January the way they're playing.
Excellent football team. Jim Moore is coach of the year in the NFL.
Philadelphia and the Giants have gone to overtime, finishing regulation tied at 20-20. Now to punt downfield by Gossett, hit high. Lionel James will run it back. He bobbles the ball and dives across the 35 out to the 37-yard line where the Chargers try again. They've got one offensive touchdown today. That's the short throw from Dan Fouts to Kellen Winslow. Other points on a field goal and a safety. Houston gets a look at those New Orleans Saints next week, and NBC Sports will be there for many parts of the country, particularly in this area, the Southwest. The Oilers go into the Superdome to play the New Orleans Saints, a team that is going to be 9-3 at day's end. Here's a throw and a catch. Gary Anderson gets the ball. He's ahead for a big gainer, his first of the day, down to the 41-yard line of Houston.
Again, trying to exploit Audrey McMillan, something that the Chargers couldn't do in the first 3 quarters. That's a 21-yard catch and run.
First down throw. Herman fires again. Good timing pattern and a good connection as the tackle is made at the 26-yard line and the clock continues to run.
Wes Chandler on the receiving end, Pat McAllen on the coverage. And they go right back to the line of scrimmage. The officials now doing the best they possibly can to get this one over and in the books.
Downfield throw. Herman looking sharp as he makes the connection to Wes Chandler down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for San Diego.
Now, Houston is going with the prevent defense here. They're allowing those receptions in front of them. They're not playing a normal defense. They don't mind if San Diego gets the ball in the end zone. Robert Lyles. 4th sack of the day for the Houston Oilers.
Robert Lyles had his biggest moment of this game, not on that sack, but on a fumble pickup and return for a touchdown early in the game when they smashed Fouts on a blitz.
Good coverage by Houston. You see they're still coming with a blitz. There's 91 Johnny Meads and Lyles from the outside. They get him down, go right back to the line of scrimmage.
Barry Redden gets the swing pass and takes it inside the 25-yard line, down to about the 23. Doug Smith came up and made the play. The L.A. Raiders have gone in front of the Buffalo Bills 7-0. Mark Wilson has just thrown a 14-yard scoring pass to Bo Jackson.
Now we got an Oiler down, Doug Smith, nose tackle.
A field goal by Nick Lowry of Kansas City at the final gun has tied the game with Cincinnati. So they're going to overtime, as are the Giants and the Eagles.
Well, Cincinnati can't win them in 4 quarters. Maybe they can win them in 5.
Nose tackle Doug Smith, a former standout in the U.S. Football League, out of Auburn, is being attended to with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here at the Astrodome. It's a doubleheader day on NBC Sports. The Patriots and the Broncos are now underway at Mile High Stadium in Denver. As we mentioned, the Bills and the Raiders playing at Los Angeles. You'll see one of those 2 games in your area.
This game has been a doubleheader in itself.
Just about.
So this will be a tripleheader day for some of you lucky folks.
Some of the finals in today. Indianapolis upset Cleveland 9-7. Big ramifications in the AFC Central, where there's going to be a 3-way tie for first at the end of the day between the Browns, the Oilers, and the Steelers. Steelers upset Seattle today, 13-9. San Francisco goes to 10-2 with a 23-12 win at Green Bay.
You see the imbalance there by the San Diego Chargers has pretty much been a problem they've faced all year long. The rushes to the passes. That's one of the things that Al Saunders wanted to fix this season. And of course, when you're down 27-11 or 27-5, you don't have doesn't look very smart to run it. You got to throw it.
Over the middle, and it's tipped away. Chandler was open, turning in front of the defensive back, ready to receive the ball, and then jumping up to tip it away was the strong safety Keith Bostic, who's had a big day.
So it's 4th and goal once again from the 23.
Charger coaches want to see their full offense the rest of the way, and there's a good possibility you would think that maybe Herman will be in there to start next Sunday against the Steelers.
Tough choice. I don't think Dan Fouts was protected particularly well.
He was not.
Neither one of these quarterbacks is very mobile. Therefore, the pass protection has got to be very good every week.
Little Train James with the heart of a lion, stretching out into the defense, paying the price, and he's down to the 5-yard line.
But Houston will take over.
What a play. Yep, 4th down play, but it was short, even though it was a 19-yard gain.
Domingo Bryant there to make the tackle. James, for a little guy, is not afraid to throw his body to the wind. And Houston takes over, 6:10 left. Chargers have 3 timeouts left.
Brent Peace has come in to quarterback the Oilers here in the 4th quarter. You would think his instructions would be go to Pinkett, go to Highsmith, run the ball. Should probably drop 8 yards in the end zone and throw it 60 yards.
Sure, why not? Pinkett and Ray Wallace are the running backs for Houston.
1st and 10, Oilers. They lead 33-11 with 6:10 to play. Alan Pinkett running hard into the Charger defense, and he gets out to the 5-yard line, a gain of only about 2 yards. Thomas Benson made the tackle. Oilers huddling at their leisure in the end zone, letting that clock run. 5:50 to play.
This game has now gone 3 hours and 21 minutes. Without overtime, 3 hours and 21 minutes.
Producer Kenneth Edmondson pointing out that the Oilers have had one game this year that went 3 hours and 44 minutes, November 1st. Pitch back Pinkett. Very quick, and he's out to the 10-yard line. Alan Pinkett out of the state of Virginia. Started as a first-year player at Notre Dame, and of all the great runners they've had over the years, he amassed more yards during his career than any player back in the history of Fighting Irish football.
Speaking of Notre Dame, congratulations to Tim Brown. Winning the Heisman, the 53rd Heisman. Wasn't he the 7th Notre Damer to win it?
Yes, he was.
Who started the rumor that Don McPherson was making a late charge? That was a landslide for Tim Brown, was it not?
The Heisman voting is usually over in October. Alan Pinkett busts a beauty on 3rd down and 3. He breaks through the Charger defense and gets out to the 24-yard line where Chip Banks knocked him down.
The numbers of this particular game for both sides are not good. Pinkett now 9 carries, 40 yards. Rozier had 16 for 32. Highsmith 9 for 32. The biggest winner was the penalties today. They were probably the most yards amassed. Now 10 carries, 54 yards for Pinkett.
Don't say penalty.
I take it back.
Don't say it.
I take it back.
1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers now, as with the rookie quarterback Brent Peace running the offense. The handoff goes to Wallace, and he takes it across the 25. 1st down carry's good for a couple of yards. He was knocked down by linebacker Chip Banks of San Diego.
The San Diego bench does not look like a happy bunch. Win 8 straight football games, lose 3 in a row.
Still stand 8-4 after 12 weeks.
Yes, they do. They are still squarely in the race in the AFC West.
Depending on what the Broncos do today, San Diego, even with the 3 straight losses, could have the best record in the American Conference.
Isn't that something? Thank you, replacement team at 3-0.
If the Broncos win today, they would go to 8-3-1 and be a half game up on San Diego. Final score, the Washington Redskins, who trailed in the game, have come back and beaten St. Louis going away 34-17. Washington, with that victory, wins the NFC Eastern Division title. So the Redskins assured a playoff spot. Now 9-3 with still 3 games to play, and of course they'll have the week off. A long row when you make it as a wild card. One team has gone the distance doing that. That was the Raiders back in 1980.
Chances are you're always on the road. You will be after the first wild card game. You can't play at home after that.
Highsmith takes a hard shot. Hitting him was inside linebacker Thomas Benson with 2:25 to play. Now to NFL Live and Bob Costas. Bob?
All right, Don, on the pregame
track. After that rout of Seattle Monday night, they might be formidable the rest of the way. Though it won't be a playoff team, but they might have a lot to say about who else is.
Well, they got Bo Jackson kicked into gear there.
Did he play or what? All the jokes about Bo stop when he gets that pig under his arm.
Yeah, that's Brian Bosworth about Bo Jackson. Parked him in the end zone in the Kingdome last Monday evening.
It was a picture setting. The Heisman Trophy winner running hell-bent for the end zone with the ball under his arm. The much-talked-about linebacker squaring up and meeting him head-on. They both went into the end zone with Mr. Jackson getting his second TD.
Yeah, all of a sudden that haircut of Brian Bosworth didn't quite hold the character it might have before that missed tackle.
Well, the book on Bosworth so far is he's been okay. He's not close to the play of Shane Conlon, the rookie from Penn State, who's an inside linebacker of Buffalo, who was also picked in the first round.
Well, of course, Conlon had a training camp. Bosworth did not.
Well, Cornelius Bennett is better than both of them. The season is half over. Kick downfield. Lionel James takes it for the Chargers. Drives out to the 37-yard line with 2:12 to play. Mark Herman brings out the San Diego offense.
Seems like these two teams have run on and off the field a million times this afternoon.
47-yard punt, a 10-yard return. Lots of changes of possession. Last week at Indianapolis, when the Colts were beaten bad, the Colts beat the Oilers badly. Houston had 14 possessions and only punted once, but they kept turning the ball over. Had over 450 yards offense. Today they've cut down on the turnovers and they've run the ball and particularly have played very spirited defense. A 3-hour and 30-minute marathon and still 2 minutes to play. Game delayed time and again by penalties. 20 of them have been called. The Chargers report card.
About 16-33, 1 touchdown. Chandler, the big receiver, 9 catches, 118 yards. James with his 6 catches, not a factor until late. The lack of rushing, I think, is the one thing that hurts San Diego week in and week out. And, of course, the turnovers, that's the thing that really hurts San Diego the most.
Chargers want to get as much offense as they can. They still are a playoff contender, and now the swing pass goes to Spencer as he comes inside and is knocked down at about the 41-yard line. It'll keep the clock running.
Audrey McMillan knocks him out, knocks him to the ground. He does stay in bounds. That's a 15-yard pickup.
I'm talking about them wanting to get as much offense. They want to get as sharp as they can, make big plays. There's more games to play, and right now Herman gets time, fires over the middle to Spencer again, and he's knocked down at the 33-yard line. First and 10 play is good for 7 yards.
Here's the Oilers report card. Warren Moon, who did not practice all week long, didn't throw until pregame warm-up after having his shoulder injected. The numbers not spectacular. Gibbons 5 catches for 93 yards, certainly impressive, but the defense and the turnovers were the big factor for Houston today.
So in a completion to Chandler, he's down to the 12-yard line.
95.
Personal foul on 95, I believe he said.
That's William Fuller.
Yep.
That'll go against the Oilers. He added on to the end of the completion.
While we have a moment, it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today's MVP is the man with the ice pack on his shoulder, Warren Moon of the Houston Oilers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. Terrific job done by a very courageous guy, Warren Moon, who wasn't supposed to play but knew how much his team needed this game. And he was there almost for the duration. They finally took him out in the fourth quarter when it was well in hand.
That may be the psychological lift that Houston needed, just that much. So they'd lost 2 games in a row, and I imagine there were a lot of skeptics on this football team had not Warren Moon started as to their chances with either Brent Peace or Cody Carlson. Well, Warren Moon removed that bit of consideration. What a very courageous game.
Ball on the order, 5.
1:04 to play. After the personal foul call against William Fuller, the Chargers line up first and goal at the 6. That won't go, though. A blitz isn't picked up again. This time coming on the blitz was Tony Newsome. Sack places the ball at the Oiler 15-yard line. Timing pattern by Herman, but it was timed only to hit the AstroTurf. The receiver was running an in pattern.
Well, the AstroTurf was open. That was a weird-looking play.
No marker, though.
49 seconds left. And not a moment too soon. Oh, this is going to be a long trip back for San Diego. This team is going to hate watching the tape of this game. There was very little to be encouraged about.
About 3 hours and 10 minutes. Swing pass. Nicely done. Spencer has the ball. Spinning inside. He gets to the 9-yard line. That was a 3rd down and goal play from the 15, so it'll need 4th down and goal now from the 9.
Clock is still running. Chargers have timeouts left, and Mark Herman takes it.
With 30 seconds left to play. Take a stab. Who do you think will be in Super Bowl 22 at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium?
I like San Francisco. No, take that back. I like Chicago, and I like Cleveland.
To be to continue, but now the big play comes up. They're out of the game, but they want to get points up and get this offense clicking. Once the highest-powered offensive group in the NFL, the Chargers in the recent games have fallen on hard times. Herman's in a quarterback now. Oilers ready to blitz him on 4th down and goal from the 9. Herman throws. It's caught for a touchdown by Gary Anderson. So with 26 seconds to play, the Chargers hit an impressive play. Too little, too late, but it is a score. It's 33-17 with the extra point coming up.
Patrick Allen was the man in coverage. That's the 2nd TD he's allowed now this season. He had a string of 22 straight games where nobody caught a touchdown pass in front of him, over him, around him. Gary Anderson finally in the end zone.
Anderson 32nd reception of the season. Good for a touchdown.
Just a little slant pattern run by Gary Anderson. The Houston Oilers come with a blitz. Anderson is able to get inside that corner man. See the two linebackers, Meads, Lyles right there to pressure. And Anderson gets inside and makes a nice catch, too. Good hands catch by Gary Anderson, so we'll have an onside kick. Chargers will try to get the ball back somehow, any way they possibly can, to lose by less than 15 points.
Gary Anderson's third touchdown of the season. And so it is going to be an interesting decision now that Coach Al Saunders and his staff has to make in San Diego, and I'm sure that Dan Fouts will be part of it. They talk it over. Do you go with Herman the rest of the way, or right back to Dan Fouts? My guess they stay with Fouts.
I think if you change quarterbacks, you're pretty much telling your team, that's it, folks. We're done with Dan Fouts. I don't think Al Saunders can do that right now, because with Seattle losing again today, and all those teams so close in the AFC East, the Chargers are still in this. That ball tipped out of bounds by the Houston Oilers. They'll get it right where they knock it out of bounds. Houston ball. Once they snap the ball to the quarterback, game's over. They do not have to run a play at all.
Don't forget, it is a doubleheader day on NBC Sports. Most of you will be seeing New England and Denver. They're now underway at Denver, Colorado. No score in the first quarter. Some of you will be seeing the Raiders and the Bills. Right now, Los Angeles leads Buffalo 10-0. That game is in the second quarter already. Now, after 12 games, this is what the Richard Klein, the executive producer of NBC Sports, is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson, as we're down to 23 seconds left to play. The Oilers end their two-game losing streak, in which they gave up 91 points to the opposition. With an impressive victory today, they've overpowered the San Diego Chargers, and the Oilers are going to win it 33-18 to gain a share of first place in the AFC Central. The doubleheader day, the second game coming up shortly as the final numbers are up at the Astrodome. Oilers 33, Chargers 18.
Our most valuable